Edmonton Sports Talk. My God, I loved it. My name's Jay Milne. #Koob. Our sports update deliverer. The Koob.
I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up today.
You know what, Reid? You might be honest. All right, here's what's going on in the Nasty Cup.
Ladies and gentlemen, are you ready for some regicide?
Hello and welcome to the Springfield Police Department Rescue Phone. If you know the name of the felony being committed, press 1. To choose from a list of felonies, press 2. If you are being murdered or are calling from a rotary phone, please stay on the line. You have selected regicide. If you know the name of the king or queen being murdered, press 1.
Still one of my favorite bits ever. I love the word regicide, and I've got to use it the last 3 years in the spring, as the Oilers, of course, have eliminated the Los Angeles Kings in the first round of the playoffs 3 years in a row. Can they make it 4? Well, we will tell that tale starting tonight at 8 o'clock. Oilers starting on the road, of course. We have extended coverage of the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne today. Instead of going from 3 to 6, we're going to go from 3 to 6:30, and then no break in the stream. Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton Sports, continues at 6:30 with a 90-minute edition of the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Tom's going to join us live here in studio in about an hour for a preview. We will also be joined this afternoon by the President and Chief Revenue Officer of Oilers Entertainment Group, Stu MacDonald, who is always great to talk to, and he's going to talk about the watch parties, about trying to find tickets for home games, about merch, about 50-50. You may have heard that the 50-50 is pretty popular off the Oilers website, so we'll touch base with Stu, which will be fun. You're going to hear from Chris Knobloch. You're going to hear from Connor Brown. And Jay and I have plenty of discussion to lead you into this series. And, of course, we'll talk about some other series as well, because there were some interesting storylines over the weekend. And the Canadians and Capitals play at 5, and then the Jets are on at 5:30, right? Woo! So the ESTV will be very busy. How you doing, buddy?
I'm pumped. This is exciting. It's there's a lot of emotion and juices flowing in the studio here. Can you feel it in the office?
I can't feel it. There's juice everywhere. I'm extra juiced because I had a cup of coffee at home. Usually that's it for me.
Yeah.
Fox on 104th Street provided coffee, provided sandwiches, provided cinnamon buns. There was a lot of stuff. So we are fueled up by Fox today. We thank them. I mean, they're not far from Rogers Place, so whenever you're downtown on 104th Street, awesome spot to check out. So optional morning skate for the Edmonton Oilers today. Here's what I can tell you, and I'll thank Mark Spector from Sportsnet for tweeting this out. Trent Frederick left the ice before Kasperi Kapanen, so I would say that's a pretty good indication that Frederick will play. Chris Knobloch said he's a game-time decision. Here is the Oilers' expected lineup. McDavid between Hyman and Brown, Draisaitl between Podkolzin and Arvidsson, Nugent-Hopkins between Skinner and Frederick. Again, we're assuming Frederick is in and Kapanen is out. And then Henrique with Janmark and Perry. Now, here's where it gets interesting. The D pairings. Well, you know what? I'm not going to read the D pairings. I'm just going to read the 6 defensemen who are playing tonight. Actually, that's not even totally true. I'm going to read the 5 defensemen that are playing tonight and then mention 2 other names. Nurse, Bouchard, Kulak, Wallman, Emberson, and then it's a game-time decision between Brown and Dineen. Kulak was back in Canmore as his wife gave birth to their daughter. He's back with the team, expected to play tonight. Troy Stetcher's out. As you know, Ekholm is out for round 1 and maybe beyond if the Oilers make it. So that's where it gets dicey with the lineup, obviously, is that you don't have Ekholm, and you could have somebody quite inexperienced or, someone basically a minor leaguer, because that's where Dineen and Brown have been most of the season, playing as your 6th defenseman. I would, and that's why, Jay, I'm not going to get too hyper about the pairings, because I would think Nurse, okay, well, we know this for sure. Nurse, Bouchard, Kulak, and Wallman are your top 4 defensemen. I would expect at least one of those guys will always be on the ice. So I don't think, now I could be wrong, but I would think that they would be reluctant to have Emberson and Brown on the ice together. So maybe there's always going to be one of the quote unquote better defensemen out on the ice with one of the lesser talented or lesser experienced D-men. So just something to keep in mind there. Stuart Skinner will be your starter. The Kings are expected to go this way. Kopitar with Kuzmenko and Kempe. Deneau with Fogle and Trevor Moore. Byfield with Fiala and Laferriere. Hellenius with Mallet and Turcotte. Defensively, Anderson with Doughty. Gavrikov with Gavrikov. Gee, I did that last week too. Gavrikov,
the tongue twister,
with Spence, and Edmondson with Clark, and Kemper, who had an excellent season, is the starting goaltender for the Los Angeles Kings, who in the regular season went 48, 25, and 9, 105 points, 640 points percentage. They were 6th overall. Oilers 48, 29, and 5, 101 points, 616 points percentage, 9th overall. Later on, or just as we kind of move throughout the afternoon, I'll dive into some of the goals for, goals against stuff, power play, penalty kill, 5-on-5 play, all those sorts of things to get you ready for this game. Feeling good?
Can't wait. I just was thinking of something we talked about earlier. And I think Kemper's gonna be a big difference maker in this series, as do you.
Who?
Well, Kemper.
Oh, well, mispronouncing his name the entire time. Yeah, we could do that someday.
I think we should try it.
Just
yeah, sure.
we should. Well, I do it often enough anyway, or I forget on the fly. I think like the Kings have that defenseman Moverare, and I always say move rare when I first see it. I think I said it wrong last week. Anyway, here we go.
It's spelt move rare.
Yes, it is not said that way. That's okay. Anyway, plenty of storylines to dive into, and plenty of fun things to get to. Like I said, Tom Gazzola and Stu MacDonald, the president and chief revenue officer of OEG, is going to join us. It is a game day. We're keeping this going even into the playoffs, and that is the Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game. Hudson's Canada's Pub. You're invited down tonight for the Oilers game. You can also join them Fridays and Saturdays after 9 p.m. Late night happy hour specials. Food starting at $4. Drinks from $3.75. Book your reservation now at hudsonscanadaspub.com. So I'm going to give a series of clues throughout the course of the show. You have to guess who the Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete is. You're trying to win a $25 GC. We only accept guesses that come in on the text line. 780-218-9999. Afternoon inbox presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Tap 25 restaurant, where the entire menu is 50% off 7 days a week from 2 to 5 p.m. The first clue is Cup Champ. The first clue is Cup Champ. Now, again, maximum 3 guesses per phone number. Maybe you're 90% sure from the first clue who it is. Maybe you're 78% sure. Do you want to use a guess on it? Do you want to use a couple guesses on it, or do you want to save till we give more clues? The first clue is Cup Champ. That's all we're going to tell you for that one. 780-218-9999, the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. You can also reach us there with any other text message thoughts that you have. You can email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Jay at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. My goodness, I already have 2 limericks emailed to me, so I'll touch on those throughout the course of the show. And Jay, it's a special day, so I've written some limericks today.
Oh boy,
do you want to hear one?
Yes.
Which one do I start with? I'll start with this one. There was once a D-man named Doughty, short on teeth and a little bit pouty. A nasty king with 2 rings. Belly button, innie or outie?
Yes. Yeah.
There's one to get it going.
That's good. Yeah, I've already received one as well on the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox from Big Slam Nasty, who was in earlier, and we challenged to a limerick.
No, we do have, as we know, we have a person or persons who participate in the Nasty Chat and will take on the persona of an NHLer. For example, we have someone in the Nasty Chat today claiming to be Drew Doughty. We have had a Matthew Tkachuk. We've had a Brad Marchand in there. Might be the same person who cycles through a few different usernames. I believe, though, this is really this person.
Oh, yeah.
And that is local product, former Golden Bear football player and Montreal Alouette Justin Lawrence.
Wow.
In the Nasty Chat today. Huge Oilers fan. So he's probably ready for the show tonight. He sat in your chair and did a show with me when you were away once, Jay. So
yes.
That's pretty cool. If you're taking in the show, iHeartRadio app, TuneIn Radio app, thank you for doing so. Remember to let other people know where they can find Edmonton Sports Talk and about our extended playoff coverage. And if you are taking us in on YouTube, which includes the video element, remember to click the thumbs up button. Let's see how high we can go today. We would like to get a show record.
We got to.
Which we think the show record is 220 something.
220, yeah.
Let's say it's 220. We want to see how high we can go. Should be a big audience today. People are excited for game one. It's a new beginning.
Well, instead of 155 likes, maybe we should see, it would be nice in a round number to get to 200.
Let's go for it.
Let's
Why not?
go for it.
Let's
Why
go
not?
for it.
Why not?
Let's
we're here. It's game one. It's the day. It's here. Time to let the hair down.
Oh, someone in the Nasty Chat is always saying, play the song. Okay.
Click, click, click. Must you click? Please, please click. Must you click? You must click. Thumb, thumb, thumb.
All right. There's the song, everybody. It seems people like the song more than I do, but I'm happy to play the song.
It's a cult classic, Reid.
It has become a bit of a cult classic. Sorry about sort of like This Is Spinal Tap. So that's a great movie. All right. So the Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athlete of the game, First Clue Cup champ. Just to remind everybody of that. We're still going to do the off-topic topic. Like if somebody just put in the Nasty Chat, who came up with that? Just a quick note here, Jeff. That was not pre-written. Okay. I did that spur of the moment a couple of months ago. If I was going to pre-write a thumbs up song, it would be less nonsensical than that.
Well, and let's be honest here, Reid. We're probably going to have listeners that are listening to this in anticipation of this game that may not have tuned into the Reid Wilkins show.
Right.
So to those of you who are listening for the first time, you are going to see the full unlocked brain that is Reid Wilkins. And the click, 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 thumb, thumb, thumb is just...
it's just part of it.
A part of that.
Just a small part of it.
I just get to sit here and watch.
Just a small slice of my brain served with a nice Chianti and fava beans or whatever it was. All right. Anyway, before we completely cannibalize the show, we are still going to do our off-topic topic for William Huff. Since 1952, William Huff has provided industry-leading advertising solutions for thousands of valued clients. Their unparalleled customer service, combined with decades of industry expertise and a desire to make every job the very best it can be, is what they call the William Huff advantage. Visit their website at williamhuff.com or give them a shout, 780-454-4536. So I want to play this clip here from Connor Brown, optional morning skate today for the Oilers. Connor Brown was asked to comment on the Oilers having all this time because they've been in California since now Tuesday when they flew to San Jose.
Yeah.
So they had an off day. They practiced in San Jose. They practiced in LA. So Brown was asked about just sort of all this team togetherness time.
Yeah, I think it was great. Yeah, obviously, get dinners together with the guys, some activities and stuff like that. So I think we had a lot of fun together, and with that anticipation of some fun things to come. We got an escape room in, actually. Yeah, we got out. Yeah. We had Doc Naidu on our team. He was our ringer. So
okay, now who was the ringer?
Dr. Duren Naidu.
Right.
Team doctor for the Oilers.
So when he first said that,
assumed smart person.
And right. And when I heard that first, I was like, Doc, because they call Nurse Doc.
Yeah.
And they call Derek Ryan, I think, Doc sometimes too, because DRR his. So I was like, who what player is this? And Jay's like, no, the actual. He used his real name. He didn't use a nickname.
Yeah.
So the off-topic topic for fun today. Text 780-218-9999, River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Post in the Nasty Chat. Which current Oiler, would you want on your team, in your group, if you were trying to get out of an escape room? Who would you want? Who would you want? Which current Oiler would you want to be in an escape room with trying to get out?
Dang. I mean, there's so many ways you could go. Do you go for the... Now, is this an Oilers player, like on the roster? Or does this get into...
A current Oiler.
A current Oiler. Well, I mean, you might look at a Jeff Skinner. You know, if you got to get into, tighter spaces. You know, he's a smaller, slighter guy, so he can, weave in and out of those areas.
It's not Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom trying to crawl out through the insects. But an escape room is solving puzzles.
But I know, but sometimes you got to get into
tights. No, we're not going to solve the puzzles. We're just going to climb out of it and say we finished it.
Well, what if you had to? I mean...
you took this in a totally different direction than where I thought it was going.
Hey, this is my escape room and what I think. I've never done an escape room.
Okay. Oh, you really?
But don't you just have to get out?
An escape room is not a test of physical strength.
But what if they said there's a hole in the top of the room and you got to get out of there? I'd want somebody I could throw up there.
All right. An escape room is solving a series of puzzles, such as logic puzzles or basically logic puzzles.
So no physical attributes.
No, it's not about smashing things or how high you can
can't just
jump.
Physically break out of the room.
It's not the NFL Combine.
Oh, God.
It's not like, these guys have the highest combined vertical, so they get out. I'm sorry, Jay. I thought you knew what an escape room was.
I thought I knew what everybody knew what it was, too.
John L. says, Jay is off my list. Okay, well, I'm glad we can have some levity on day one of the playoffs, or game one for the Oilers. Induced Comics going with Nugent Hopkins. Matthew G says the Kings are boring in caps. Oilers need to score first, crush their confidence, and then roll through them. What was that Arnold Schwarzenegger clip from Conan? Like we must crush their spirit and burn their village down, or something like that. All right.
Who's your player?
I would always take Ekholm and something like that.
Okay, why?
Well, I think he'd be intelligent and he wouldn't panic. It'd be like, oh my God, like Ekholm, we only got 30 seconds left, or we're going to lose to the other team, or we're going to lose points for failing this challenge. And he'd be like, he's got to be, okay, just think, guys,
maybe a goaltender, calm under pressure, doesn't get too phased.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, now that I know the parameters of an escape room, I thought the goal was just to escape from the dang room.
No, it's not. It's not about smashing your way out.
So is this like, solve this quadratic equation?
There could be mathematical stuff, but it'd be more like, recognizing riddles? A pattern or Ridley stuff or I don't know, a bunch of things like, you think, you got to look for a number code and you figure everything out. And then the solution is like, VXXX, and you're like, what is that? Oh, Roman numerals. It's 510. It's stuff.
Gotcha.
Like, it's stuff
okay.
Like that.
Okay.
Yeah. It's not about like.
Okay. Well, I changed. Yeah.
It's not about let's climb up the wall, kill the scorpion, with the acid we found in the fridge, and then crawl out.
I changed my answer from Jeff Skinner to Stu Skinner.
Okay, good.
I'm sticking with the Skinner, though.
That went in a totally different direction, as sometimes happens on this show. All right. Keep clicking that thumbs up. We're almost at 100, 20 minutes into the show.
Well, let's go.
So let's keep going. We have a lot of playoff talk. Of course, we're going to talk about the orders. We want to touch on some things we saw on the weekend as well, because there were some exciting / interesting games. And you're going to hear from more from Chris Knobloch and more from Connor Brown as well. We want to hear from you. Tom Gazzola is going to visit us in studio. This is a great day. Game one of the playoffs for the Edmonton Oilers. Here comes the Koob.
Game day is finally here for the Oilers as Edmonton visits LA for game one of the playoffs. Trent Frederick is a game-time decision with Stuart Skinner taking the crease. And live from Boston, Pete to Westgate, Tom Gazzola has the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show alongside Hernan Salas 90 minutes before puck drops right here on EST. And the Kraken have fired head coach Dan Bilesma with daily faceoffs. Frank Saravalli reporting that the team is making some other adjustments, moving general manager Ron Francis to a front office position, promoting assistant general manager Jason Botterill to general manager. And from Washington, the Habs challenged the Caps in Game 1 of their series, while the Jets look to take a 2-0 lead over the Blues on a 3-game slate. And 2 games on the court includes Detroit hosting New York as the Knicks hold the Pistons 1-0 entering the second match. Having 8 games in the MLB, the Jays and Astros duke it out. Kevin Gausman gets the ball for Toronto. This sports update is brought to you by Clover Bar Feeds. Clover Bar Feeds has all the animal feed you only get, top-notch service and selection from their family-owned business. Visit Clover Bar Feeds at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park or call them at 780-467-5014. The Reid Wilkins Show returns once we get back from break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
2 guys and a goalie.
The later they start, the better. I mean, you got a bunch of guys coming back from injury. The later you start, the better. That extra day could be the difference.
It could be the difference in Frederick or not. Maybe.
Yep, in Game 1. And it could be the difference of do you rush a guy back even a day? Yes, a day makes a difference. A day too early. So it benefits the Oilers.
2 guys and a goalie, presented by GS Construction. Tuesday and Thursday afternoons at noon, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Spin to win Fridays at the Banquet. Every Friday, spin the wheel for a chance to win big and save on your bill. It's that easy. Spin, win, and save. Don't miss out. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
GCL Diesel has been serving oil country since 1972. From diesel cars to SUVs to pickups. From farm tractors to school buses to a big rig. From diesel generators to forklifts, GCL can test, troubleshoot, and repair all diesel fuel system components. Whether it's injectors, pumps, turbos, filters, or additive, GCL has the parts you need to keep your diesel running the way it should. For genuine diesel parts at wholesale prices, visit GCL Diesel in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel. Diesel understood.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
Downsizing, upsizing, or staging your home to sell? Sentinel Storage is Edmonton's team for affordable storage solutions. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Sentinel Storage, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Must you click? Click. Must you click?
All right, there's the Thumb Click remix made by Zachary Kubusch, our technical producer and sports update deliverer here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. We are with you until 6:30 tonight, and then Tom Gazzola takes over with Hernan Salas for the Oil Stream pregame show at 6:30, leading into the 8 o'clock game between the Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings.
Wow, there's a few friends of the show watching. David Beard's in the chat.
Oh, wow.
Newly acquired and brought back home for your double E. Thanks, Beardo. You know what, Reid? Today, as we mentioned, we're doing bonus coverage from 6 to 6:30 that's going to lead into the GCL Diesel post-game or pregame show, sorry. If you are on your YouTube feed and you want to just carry on through, turn on autoplay. It's at the bottom of your screen, right beside the closed captioning button. If you slide that over to autoplay is on, you'll just carry forward. And you can do that actually every day for all of our content on YouTube. That way you'll go from show to show to show to show and you won't miss anything. So turn autoplay on while you're at it.
Tube Socks with a limerick. Reid and Jay had their plans tossed astray by the Oilers who started to play at a quarter past late. Now they just sit and wait, working well past the end of their day. Pretty good. We appreciate that coming in.
Yeah, these playoff hours, Reid, they're gonna
wear us down.
It's gonna wear us down slowly.
I think we'll be okay. It's a privilege to cover the playoffs and talk about them and really feel the passion of oil. Because I can't remember who said it. Now it's not totally true because stuff's going to get picked apart. But somebody once said to me, the great thing about the playoffs is that a lot of Oilers fans turn from armchair GMs and coaches just back into fans.
Yes.
Just back into, okay, just win. I'm not going to critique the win. It's hard. It's hard to win the Stanley Cup. It's hard to win one darn playoff game.
Well, now it's serious. You know, now everybody must unite and become one again.
Yes.
Enough picking the nit. It's time to get after it as a collective.
Yeah, win 8-6, whatever.
Whatever.
Win 2-1, whatever. Win.
Just
get,
win.
Get one
That's
win
a great
closer to
point.
moving on. Yeah.
Take your save percentage and throw it out the window. Just win, baby.
Yeah. There's some teams that won over the weekend before we dive into some other Oilers stuff, but we should talk about some other storylines. Look, and I talked about this last week. And when I picked the, we did our predictions.
We did.
And we admit there are varying degrees of cheekiness with some of our predictions, but we put them on air. And I took the Toronto Maple Leafs to win the Eastern Conference. And of course, I got some. We know there's a lot of Leaf hatred in oil country, which is fine. But I got a lot of Reid. This group of Maple Leafs, the Matthews era, what do they call it? The Core 4 era. They always lose. They always lose. Look, you always lose until you win. I know that's just, but hear me out. I know that just sounds stupid the way I say it. The Washington Capitals were never going to win the Stanley Cup. Ovechkin couldn't do it. That group of players, and what, year 13, he did it. You know? So sometimes teams break through. And that Toronto team is very, very good. Now, I don't expect all the games against Ottawa to be lopsided. I think I picked the Leafs in 7. I think that is going to be a tough series. I do think Ottawa can bounce back. I think Allmark can play better than he did. I think Ottawa can get a little greasier in front of the net. All those types of things. But that Leafs team is really, really good. And I think I just want to say this to people because I know there's a lot of Leafs hatred. And yes, this Toronto era, even the era before Matthews, if you look back to when they blew that third period lead against Boston, I don't even think any Leafs currently on the team were on that team because that was 14 years ago, I think. Yes, I get that. But sometimes things change. And that's a very well put together team. You know, they clearly have the skill up front. I think they have really good depth forwards. I think they have a bigger, bulker, somewhat nastier D than they've had in other years, more like a more rugged D. And they've had good goaltending from Stolarz, who I guess you could say, big picture, he's unproven in the playoffs. I guess he had an appearance for the Panthers last year in the Cup final when the Oilers blew them out in Game 4. But that's a good team. That Toronto team is a good team, and I guess I'm asking people, take off your Leafs hating glasses and think independently of past seasons. I view them as a legitimate threat. They're very, very good.
Well, that core 4 you're talking about had 9 points yesterday. And if they can keep playing like that, I don't think this is going to be a long series because I honestly don't think Ottawa can match that. But that's the same thing that you heard Jamie Thomas say right on this show last week about the Jets, is that they get it now, right? Maturation is a beautiful thing, especially when it comes to professional sports. You've been there. And when do you get over the hill or when do you get over the edge? It's hard to say when that's going to happen. But you look at that Jets team, I think the Blues gave them everything they had. And the Jets still came out with a 2-goal victory. But yeah, Toronto's, they looked very good. Now it's one game, okay? And we could be sitting here tomorrow talking to all the Oilers fans saying, hey, look, it's one game. Don't stress out, okay? But if they can continue contributing like that and scoring and putting up those points, I don't see how Ottawa can hold a candle to that team.
Yeah.
So maybe your prediction looks just fine.
Jets and Blues, I thought that was an outstanding hockey game.
Feisty.
I mean, I think that's going to be... I really think once we get through all 15 series and somebody wins the cup, like I'm talking total series, we might say that was the best series. Like, that was a great game. Like, to me, that was punch, counter punch. The Blues played great. I mean, obviously the Jets stuck with it and figured it out. Dramatic game winner and then an empty netter. But I thought that game, I just thought that was a great playoff game. Jets in St. Louis.
Is there a better atmosphere to see on TV than a Winnipeg Jets home game? with the whiteout.
Didn't they show a picture of like one guy wearing a Flyers jersey or something like that?
There's always.
And again, you never know if it's AI or Photoshopped or something.
Speaking of photos,
I thought I saw that.
Thought I saw. I mean, this is totally meandering, but I think I saw a picture of a Connor McDavid jersey at the Vatican over the weekend.
Yeah, was that real?
I don't know.
That was. Why not? Koob, you think that was made up?
I think it was real. I mean, why AI that? It seems pretty real. It was one of the older jerseys, like it was the Orange Crush jerseys from like 2017.
Oh, was it? I thought it was.
I think it was an older jersey,
Okay.
but it was definitely there.
But yeah, I mean, you look at the teams. I think every team that was supposed to win won over the weekend, except in the Colorado-Dallas series. That's a toss-up anyways, but Colorado thumped them. So maybe they are missing Jason Robertson a little bit more than you would think. I don't know. Colorado looked really strong as well.
Yeah.
And I went 2 for 2 on a few plays I had over at Coolbet.
I wonder how many people are going to share your Vegas story here.
Well,
your experience.
Vegas was... Koob, did you get that image I sent? If you can, throw it up. It's not terribly important, but the -1.5 was the spread if you were going to choose Vegas to cover that. And boy, oh boy, did they do that by the hair on their chinny chin chin. 1/10 of a second read. So it's the empty net at the end of the game. Brett Howden fires it down the rink, and it literally goes in the net with less, like 1/10 of a second left.
Right.
They had to review it. I mean, the game was over.
Right.
But they had to review it, and that got the over, or it covered the spread.
Because it was 3-2 when he scored, right?
Yeah, and it covered the over as well.
Oh, the over was 5, over-under was 5.5.
Yeah.
Okay.
So that was a big goal for anybody that was playing that way. But
so that helped the Milne bank balance a little bit.
Well, both of them were tight. Winnipeg, St. Louis, I had that 1.5, -1.5. And
so it's tied with 80 seconds left.
Yeah, Kyle Connor scores with a minute and a half left, and then they get the empty netter. So yeah, it was, I don't know. We're going to see if we can keep this streak going. Have to figure out something to do tonight.
I was a little embarrassed to say when you were telling me this morning, I said to you, oh, did that? Because as soon as the Vegas goal went in, I shut the TV off.
Oh,
and I didn't. I heard them saying like, "Oh, is that going to count?" I'm like, "Okay, they won." Like clearly,
well, it's over anyways.
So I was like, "Oh wait, I didn't even know until this morning." I came in. Oh, did that count? I didn't even look.
Yeah, they had to like slow it down, like 1/10 of a second read. It was that close. Like it entered the crease with 0.2 or 0.3.
Right.
Like it was that fast. So yeah, there was a lot of people, I'm sure, very happy about that, and a lot of people very annoyed that goal stood.
Yeah. By the way, of course, we are fired up just about the Oilers starting tonight and the first weekend of the postseason in general. Fired Up, presented by Gemco Fireplaces, proudly serving Edmonton and area for 45 years. The authorized dealer for Napoleon Fireplaces. Whether it's gas or wood burning, look no further than Canadian-made Napoleon Fireplaces. All the Napoleon products you need are available at Gemco 9281 50th Street. Oil Understood coming up, and we'll hear some clips from Connor Brown and Chris Knobloch. Habs Capitals starts at 5. The Jets game 2 is at 5:30. So we'll have, what are we going to have on the ESTV? I think we got to have the Canadians game on.
Montreal.
Yes, we can watch the whole first period.
Well, that's your big upset of the first round, isn't it?
Did I take the Canadians? I've already forgotten my picks.
Believe you did.
I haven't, everybody. I know all my picks all the time.
Well, I know one pick you did that's pertaining to a team from the Edmonton area.
I did.
You made a bold prediction.
Yeah, I pushed my chips in. That's fine.
I liked it.
Yeah, that's fine. Why not?
It was awesome.
Why not?
Got me fired up on a Thursday.
Here's the thing about making predictions. Worst case scenario is you're wrong.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
That's about as bad as it can get.
Yeah. So if that's now, when we are reporting stories and facts and information, we do not want to be wrong. We want to be accurate and thorough and responsible. With predictions, sometimes you're wrong. So I'm pushed in. I said Oilers in 4. Why the heck not?
Reid, the off-topic topic for William Huff was, what Oiler would you like to solve an escape room with? Chris Sadaway says, give me Corey Perry. Seems like he can utilize props to make them work in ways that one wouldn't expect, like grabbing a goalie pad to get a goal for a team.
Oh, my goodness.
Mike, the Michigan fan, that would be easy. I would want Zach Hyman in the escape room. Oh, Ross says probably picking Bouchard. Didn't he win Academic Player of the Year in the CHL? Okay. Tube Sock says I've never been to one, but if I did, I'd go to Jay's escape room.
Yeah, Jay's would be it would be a smash your way out room.
And 10- Hyman seems like a smart guy. I would take him. It's funny now you're just totally guessing because Hyman seems smart.
Yeah, who could figure out a complex sequence?
Gosh, Connor Brown, he looks like he was a studious person. Maybe he's a smart guy.
Caster 1990. Jay, escape rooms are mental exercises, not physical. You're thinking more of the activate rooms, which has some mental challenges, but mostly physical. There we go. Caster 1990 can always put a nice capper on it.
Is there's seriously an activate room? So now there's just escape rooms and then there's activation rooms?
I guess. I haven't heard of these. Caster 1990 always finds a way to educate.
Isn't an activation room like a gym? A gym?
Yeah, because when Tom exercises, he says, I activated.
Yeah, I mean, you got to get your morning activation in.
Maybe he just works out in the activation room.
Oh, maybe. Yeah, maybe there's a bunch of lifting and stuff involved. Do you want... No, I'll save my... I wrote 3 limericks today. I'm quite happy with myself.
Well, we do have a limerick in from who I said was in here earlier, Big Slam Nasty.
Oh, he's doing one.
Yes.
Is this his first try?
I believe it is. And he said, constructive criticism, please, fellas, which we're not afraid to give.
That's fine.
Maddie doesn't make predictions, but I do. Rogers Place will be a zoo. Oilers in 5. The Kings will dive. And Kane will look brand new.
That's quite good.
That's not bad.
That's quite good.
I like the brevity in lines 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I know you're going to say something about line 5.
Could have had a Vander.
Could have been more exotic.
It a little longer. Yeah, but
a little bit more exotic.
Good. Yeah, it was good.
And maybe something totally irrelevant to what was being said earlier in the limerick. You can go off the wall in line 5.
David Beard put Kulak in the nasty chat. I think either for escape room help or or he just likes Kulak. He just wanted to yell out Kulak.
Well, he's a local guy. Maybe they're chums.
I wonder if they work out together.
Maybe they're chums.
Yeah, David, let us know. It's funny too. Just as an aside here, because a couple of my friends are listening to the show, and I think a couple of friends are listening to the show for. Like I have some friends who aren't huge sports fans, but I think they want to get into the playoffs. So they were like,
sure.
I'm going to check out your show today. So they heard us talking about the thumbs up. So a couple of my friends have texted me a thumbs up and have been like, there you go, Reid. No, you got to go on YouTube and click the thumb under the screen. That's how we get them. I can't count those that I get to my phone.
Speaking of which, we're almost to single word of the day territory on normal days, but this is not a normal day.
No, we want to get high.
Game 1.
We want to push it high. Do not pleasure delay with the thumbs. Let's see how high we can get. We want to set a new show record. We're about 100 away from doing a new show record.
Yeah, let's do it.
But ideally 255. Let's set a new bar today and see where we can go. Okay, looking more into some of the key numbers for this series. Some comments from Chris Knobloch and Connor Brown. First, though, sports update, the Koob.
Game 1 between the Oilers and Kings shakes down. Stuart Skinner gets a start. Trent Frederick being listed as a game-time decision. And 90 minutes before puck drop, Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas go live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Gazzola live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. Tune in only on EST at 6:30. Meanwhile, it's Game 2 between Dallas and Colorado. Dallas trailing 1-0 in the series. Elsewhere, the Canadians and Caps play Game 1, while St. Louis visits Winnipeg in Game 2. The Jets winning 5-3 in that opening game. In Seattle, head coach Dan Bylsma has been relieved of his duties. Frank Saravalli from Daily Faceoff reporting that John Botterill will take over as general manager, as well having current general manager Ron Francis to take a front office position. Basketball has 2 matches. The Clippers and Nuggets tip off. Denver leads 1-0 in their series, while Detroit looks to tie their series in Game 2 against the Knicks. And in baseball, Kevin Gausman takes to the mound for the Jays in their opener against the Astros. This sports update is brought to you by Windsor Plywood Leduc, locally owned and operated, serving Leduc and surrounding areas since 93. They have doors, flooring, baseboards, and of course, they got plywood. Go see the knowledgeable staff today at Windsor Plywood Leduc. Crunching the numbers for Gallo LLP brings us back on the other side of the break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Gallo LLP is an Alberta-based accounting firm with expert chartered professional accountants in both our Edmonton and Sherwood Park accounting firms. Our experienced and innovative accountants provide financial advice that saves our clients money. Simply put, we help our clients protect their assets and grow their businesses. At Gallo LLP, they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business. Reach out to Preet or John to discuss how they can help your business grow. Visit GalloLLP.ca today and see how they can help you take your business to the next level.
Do you have pets? Horses? Chickens? Did the place you used to get your feed recently close down? Have no fear. Clover Bar Feeds is here. Whether it's dogs, cats, horses, or chickens, Clover Bar Feeds has you covered. Offering a large variety of food and feed, you can trust the experts at Clover Bar Feeds. They've been family owned and operated for over 60 years. This means you can expect nothing less than top-notch service and selection. Come visit them at 200 Portage Close in Sherwood Park, or visit them online at cloverbarfeeds.com.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know. All right, thanks a lot for joining us. Extended coverage today. We are going to go until 6:30 instead of our usual 6 o'clock departure time here on the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. And then at 6:30, the stream switches over to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Hernan back from vacation, looking great. I missed that guy. He and Gager did a great show from 1 to 3, and that leads you into the 8 o'clock face-off between the Edmonton Oilers and the Los Angeles Kings. Jason Milne with me as well. Somebody likes you in the nasty chat.
I see that, yeah. Hello, Skid Steer.
Jay's Skid Steer is posting in the nasty chat. And your lawn sweepings or something like that was also posting.
Looking for someone to come operate me. Well,
could happen. Jay'll be home tonight.
Apparently, I need hydraulic oil first.
That's great.
It's on the shelf. Leon's body language says Activate is a cool place. They also have a laser room. And Corey B, this Activate thing is garnering a lot of attention in the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. Corey B, Jay, take your kids to Activate. Fun for the whole family.
Oh, neat.
Maybe I can throw my kids through.
Where is it?
Well, I'll have to.
Is there more than one? We'll have to find out.
I can Google that.
There is Google for
there
that.
Is a
what
thing.
did we do before Google? We had to remember
know.
Stuff.
Yellow pages and whatnot.
Yeah. Who is that guy?
Maps.
Who is that guy that starred in the Bob Newhart show? What was his name again? Now you got to Google. Now, before you had to remember that,
and it probably autofills.
Now you can just Google who starred in the Bob Newhart show. Oh, Bob Newhart. Isn't that interesting? All right, 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. I'm going to go with clue number 2 right now.
Okay,
clue number 2 in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. You got to text in your guesses, maximum 3 guesses per person. Clue number 2 is Rangers. So first clue, Cup Champ. Clue number 2, Rangers. You're trying to win a $25 gift card to Hudson's Canada's Pub. remember, kind of Jay can check, but kind of the honors system, 2 weeks between victories.
Yeah, I think everybody's out of mystery athlete purgatory.
Well, people won last week. We had 3 winners last week.
I guess, yeah.
But yeah, we try, because there are some people who are very prolific at this, so we want to spread the prizing around a little bit if we can.
Gord Marchand in the inbox. Sorry, I missed that. Who is a game time decision? That would be Trent Frederick.
Yeah, I can dive into this now because we're doing the oil understood for GCL Diesel, providers of the best diesel engine components around. From turbochargers to injectors, fuel pumps to sensors, they are the critical engine component experts. Proud to serve Edmonton and Northern Alberta for over 50 years and now a partner of Edmonton Sports Talk and the Reid Wilkins Show. GCL Diesel. Diesel. Understood. Okay. So there are a couple game time decisions according to Chris Knobloch. Okay. Trent Frederick being one of them, but, and I'll credit Mark Spector for this because he's in LA. Obviously we are not. Trent Frederick left the ice before Kasperi Kapanen at the optional morning skate. So that's usually an indication. The guys who stay out later at the morning skates usually are the scratches. So they stay out, get a little more ice time in and work on stuff or whatever. So the fact that Frederick left before Kapanen would indicate that he's likely thinking he can play and Kapanen is thinking he is not going to play. Okay? That's the logic there. The other game time decision is who is in on defense. So Stetcher's not playing. We know Ekholm's out. Klingberg is not an option. So the other game time decision is Josh Brown or Cam Dineen going to play on defense tonight. Okay? So the 5 defensemen that we know are playing are Nurse, Wallman, Kulak, Bouchard, and Emerson. Will the 6th guy be Brown or Dineen?
And Kulak.
Did I not say Kulak?
I don't know.
Kulak's one of the 5.
Yeah, he's one of the 5.
Kulak's one of the 5 that we know are playing. Josh Brown, well, both guys have been in the minors most of the year. I mean, basically, Dineen skates better and is a better puck handler. And Brown is more of, I guess, a blunt force object. Perhaps doesn't move as well or handle the puck as well. So I don't know which way they're going to go.
Can I ask you, who would you prefer to see? I mean, I think by your answer you just gave,
you know what?
Probably Josh Brown.
I think I would go with Brown. And I realize that's not a sexy pick. And I know there's the fear of him just being overwhelmed by the LA speed. Because, I said after we saw them in the regular season that, their speed worries me a little bit. But if this becomes a game in which the front of the Oilers' net and the area around the net must be protected, and perhaps even protected after the whistle, nudge, nudge, wink, wink, perhaps Josh Brown is better equipped to play that game.
I like how you said if this becomes a game that the net front needs to be protected. I think this is going to...
likely will be.
I think that the intensity level is going to be quite high right off the start. So yeah, I would agree. I would like to see Josh Brown in there just from the physical standpoint, right? You're going to need to fight that because by all accounts and what we've seen in the past and what we saw recently, this will be extremely physical.
Yes. I think it's going to be beautiful.
I think it's going to be beautiful too. Can't wait.
All right. Chris Knobloch talking about their top 4 defensemen. So that now being Nurse, Bouchard, Kulak, and Wallman without Ekholm.
I think everyone can handle more minutes and play. Certainly you saw during the last couple of weeks where we were down 5 defensemen and we had Bouchard and Kulak and Nurse regular play 30 minutes. Wallman can play high minutes also, but it'll be very similar to this in this series. That we're going to rely on those guys to play a lot of big minutes, but we'll need contributions from all 6 of our guys, but we're comfortable with having those guys step up and play a significant role.
Well, and this is what I think. I think the D pairings are going to be all over the map. I think that they will make an effort to at least have always one of those top 4 defensemen on the ice. So I don't know if Emerson and Brown would ever be out together, or perhaps would rarely be out together. So let's look at it this way, Jay. There are 2 defensemen on the ice at a time. Let's exclude power plays for a second. Generally, there are 2 defensemen on the ice at a time. So that's 120 minutes worth of ice time for 6 guys. It's not going to be 20 apiece.
No.
I mean, could we see...
Well, who could touch the upper limits of the high 20s?
I don't know if any... Well, now it could depend on specialty. If the Oilers have 6 power plays, maybe Bouchard plays 28 minutes.
Yeah, let's say 26, 27, 28 minutes, in around there.
I think that... Okay, let me throw this at you as a theory. Just doing some math on the fly here. 24 times 4 is 96. Like, could Kulak, Nurse, Bouchard, and Wallman all play about 24 minutes each, and then that just leaves 12 minutes each for Brown and Emberson?
Well, yeah, and some I could see Bouchard playing closer to higher than 24, right? And maybe Kulak playing less.
And it might depend
I think
on
it'll
the,
level out,
on the
but
style of game.
Yeah,
Or,
I think
again,
that's
the special
exactly.
teams.
I think that's exactly what's going to happen.
Right,
is you're going to see the big 4 munching a pile of minutes. And I mean, Knobloch said that he knows that's what they have to do here. And who would have thought you'd be in a predicament or an area where you thought, oh man, we really could use Troy Stecher.
Well, and
tonight.
that's the thing, and that I know somebody gave me a hard time because I kind of said something negative about Stecher, but I've always said he gives you what he has.
Yes,
but yes, I would sooner have Stecher than Brown or Dineen in the lineup.
Well, if you look at if this is a healthy lineup, are you saying that, or is Stecher on the bubble?
Okay. Thank you, Tom. Okay, so Tom just came in, and he's going to join us in about 9 minutes here. Stetcher's actually in Edmonton, and expect Cam Dineen to play. Which, again, I also understand. I'm not going to lose it over whichever guy plays or doesn't play. But, yeah, I think... maybe this is like Bronco Nick saying Nurse can play 30 minutes easily. Maybe this is the type of game where you might have to lean on Nurse to play a ton. I mean, when we've seen Kulak's ice time get up there, right, in some of these games down the stretch as well, and he's been pretty good. But you make a great point, Jay. How ironic is it in game 1 of the postseason that we are missing Troy Stecher? Because what was the discussion around Klingberg? Okay, hopefully Klingberg is at least better than Stecher. Well, A, he hasn't been healthy, and B, when he played, I don't know if he always was. So unfortunately, that signing didn't turn out too great.
Well, and honestly, Troy Stecher has proven that he belongs in that lineup. I mean, he's played his way into that role.
Well, with Echo missing, and a spot up for grabs.
Like you say, he gives you everything he's got. And how can you fault a player that gives that kind of intensity night in, night out?
One thing we haven't seen for, about a month, because it's been a little over a month actually since Leon and Connor were both in the same game. Hyman has missed some time as well. Nugent Hopkins, didn't he miss a couple of games too along the way, 2 or 3? So the first unit power play is back together. And there was that little burst, remember, when Connor and Leon first started missing games, they still had some productive games. There were some ugly, ugly nights with the power play. So the power play one back together tonight. Here's Knobloch.
Guys, we definitely give them the keys and let them go. They might not have been together on the ice, but they worked together in the dressing room the last couple of weeks, off the ice, watching games. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of conversations about what they need to do. But yeah, that's a lot of... We can give them the preparation. We can give them some keys of what LA's doing, but it comes down to the execution. And, for a 5-man unit, we have a lot of confidence in those guys.
Yeah, I mean, I think that they know what they have to do on the power play. They've been together a while. I don't think the fact that they haven't played together as a 5-man unit for a while is going to hurt them. But I want to say this, and I mean, this is an ongoing thing with Bouchard. Fire away. And quite frankly, Jay, not just on the power play.
Sure.
What did we see over the weekend games? Point men, get it on net as quickly as possible. It doesn't have to be a howitzer. The Morgan Riley goal last night. Remember the one that just ticked the Ottawa player?
Yep.
Am I blocking it? Am I not? Ticks his glove.
Well, you never know.
Just exactly.
Pucks on net. Playoff hockey.
Right.
That exemplifies it.
Right. And So that's what not just from the power play, fire away. Like Kubusch, don't have to wait for it to be pretty. Get it, fire away. You hit an LA player on the shin or hit his stick and break his stick. Oh, well, didn't get through, but maybe it does some collateral damage.
Is it too simple to say that special teams are the key to the series for the Oilers?
Well, I'm glad you asked, Jay. I just happen to have some special teams numbers here.
Well, I do too. I mean, the last 3 matchups in the playoffs, the Oilers have held the Kings to 18.8% on, they were 10 out of 53 on their power play.
The Kings were.
Kings.
So a little below average. Yeah.
Yeah, the Oilers were 44%.
Yeah,
on
outstanding.
Their power play.
Yeah.
Outstanding. Now, is that it? If they can get that power play rolling, because that's kind of with Connor and Leon, with those 2 superstars, that's the goal, is to get on the man advantage and exploit that.
Well, I think we'll see. I think if the Oilers' power play oddly enough, the Oilers' power play this season was 23.7%, which was 12th in the NHL. For this unit, that's kind of a poor year.
Well, but remember how poor of a start they got off to.
And then, late in the season, they have an 0-for-6 against Anaheim or LA, one of the games. The Kings' power play was not good, 17.9%. The Kings' PK, pretty good, 81.4%. That was 8th. The Oilers' PK, right in the middle, 78.2%, 16th. The crazy thing about this Oilers team, it was like there was no middle ground. It was like they had a stretch where they went 23 out of 25, and then they'd have a stretch where they killed 4 out of 10.
Well, and you look at I know it was a different team, but you look at what the PK was in last year's playoffs. I mean, it was 94.3.
Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, I think they were only -2 for the whole playoffs because they got 3 or 4 shorthanded goals. I want to mention this, though. And this is another thing, and this is, I think, one of the reasons why a lot of people who are picking the Kings are picking the Kings, and it's as good a reason as any. 5-on-5 this season, the Kings outscored their opposition 177 to 125.
Jeez.
The Oilers were actually outscored 5-on-5, 172, 169. Now, you could say, okay, a couple of those games were losses without their big guys, a couple of games earlier in the season when they weren't playing well, but still, it all factors into that. I guess let me put it this way, and I think you bring up a good point. If the Oilers' power play heats up, it could win them the series.
Absolutely.
Because then, you're putting pressure on the Kings, you're putting pressure on Kemper, and then plus you're putting pressure on the Kings to not take any more penalties. Like if the Oilers come out, get 2 power play goals in the first 30 minutes of the game tonight, then the Kings are thinking, oh my God, they're on, we got to be careful here, guys. Like don't check, careful with the sticks. And then maybe that limits what the Kings can do checking wise.
Yeah, it's twofold. It's a great way to get to Kemper, right? On the man advantage.
Mm-hmm.
And you're deflating the Kings that's why I said 5-on-5, LA has the advantage, no?
They should, based on how they played this season.
What you've seen this season. And don't forget, the regular season, the Kings held the Oilers they were 1 for 11 on the power play this season, were the Oilers.
Right. Now, 2 of those games, again, were those late season games.
Yep.
Yeah, Quaddy makes a good point. Oilers' power play was up around 26%, dropped to 23 with McDavid and Draisaitl out. Fair comment for sure. Okay, we're going to talk more about this series, a little bit more about Connor Brown, Jeff Skinner with Tom Gazzola, who has the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show at 6:30. Jay and I, extended show today. We are sticking with you until 6:30, so no gap in your coverage here as we get you ready for Game 1. If you're taking us in on YouTube, hey, we appreciate, however you're listening or watching, we appreciate it, but you're doing a great job with the thumbs up on YouTube. We are 3 thumbs away from double word of the day territory.
Let's go.
So, but keep going because we want to set a new show record and get well over 200. So don't delay. If you want to pass on the link to the show and tell other people, hey, check these guys out and give them a thumbs up, it'll help us build a big audience and a big following here throughout the playoffs. All right, 4 o'clock break and then Tom.
The Lock Shop.
But Haas, I can't wait any longer to hear what you thought of the WrestleMania over the weekend.
It was entirely underwhelming considering what happened last year at WrestleMania 40. Listen, the Travis Scott thing. First of all, if you're coming down to interfere in a match, don't take a 5-minute walk down the thing.
It was like they just put it on pause. I was just like, what are we doing here?
The Lock Shop, weekday mornings at 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
River Cree Resort and Casino presents Bump and Grind Rewind, May 16th, featuring Drew Hill. With Cisco and Genuine, plus DJ Hartman B. Let me see that Bump and Grind Rewind. Friday, May 16th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
You've heard the name, but what does it mean? For over 66 years, William Huff Advertising has supplied signage from screen printing to digital to LED with design, production, and install in-house. It's a one-stop shop for all your signage needs. Edmonton owned and operated, William Huff has been trusted by the biggest companies and teams in the City of Champions and many others across the country to do the job. If you're looking for a way to get the word out about your company or event, they are the answer. Go to www.williamhuff.com. Their results speak for themselves.
Play more tables and games.
Play more tables and games. Make the most of your bad game. Oh, you want to, you need to, you know just what you've got to do. It's time to add some fun to your life. Make the most of your bad game. Play more tables and games.
PlayMoreGames.ca.
Game 1 between the Oilers and Kings is tonight. Either Josh Brown or Cam Dineen will play for the Oilers, having Stuart Skinner get the call in between the pipes. You can join Tom Gazzola on location at Boston Pizza Westgate as him and Hernan Salas go live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show 90 minutes before puck drop at 6:30, only on EST. And there's 3 other games on tap. Stars and Avs have Game 2 with Dallas dropping the opening game 5-1 from Winnipeg. The Blues look to tie their series with the Jets at 1 apiece, while the Canadiens and Capitals drop the puck in Game 1 of their series. Dan Bilesma, head coach of the Kraken, has been fired. Daily Faceoff's Frank Saravalli also reporting that Seattle will promote Jason Botterill to the general manager role, with current general manager Ron Francis being shifted to a front office position. NBA action sees 2 games, including the Clippers and Nuggets clashing, with LA losing Game 1 by 2 points in overtime. And the Jays are back in action on an 8-game MLB slate. Kevin Gausman takes the mound for Toronto in their opener against Houston. I'm Zachary Kubusch. That was your sports update. The second hour of the Reid Wilkins Show with Tom Gazzola joining the boys in studio starts right now.
Well, for the 6th consecutive season, the Edmonton Oilers are in the playoffs. And for the 4th consecutive season, they will play the LA Kings in the first round. Game 1 tonight in Los Angeles, 8 o'clock. And joining us here in the banquet studio, strike up some fun at the banquet bar, bowling, drinks, and a great time with friends. Get real, play hard at the banquet is my good friend, host of the Oil Stream here on Edmonton Sports Talk, Tom Gazzola. Tom, thanks for coming in, buddy.
Thank you for having me, Reid Rick. And Jay.
Hey, good
and
to be
Koob.
here. Yeah.
All right.
So
look
where,
at me.
Where are you going to be today?
We will be at Boston Pizza Westgate, 170th Street, 90th Avenue. Reserve your table. It's going to be busy. It's not the biggest lounge, but it's a good lounge. You guys have been there.
Yep.
And we're going to do the pre and post game show from there. Extended show here. Obviously, you guys have been talking about till 6:30, and then I'll take over with Hernan and Cass at 6:30 from BP, and there's always great prizes. I saw Tony got into the chat earlier today, so food specials, drink specials. Game day is always pumped up at BP Westgate, and we'll be there doing the show. It should be a lot of fun.
All right. What is your? I know you just briefly mentioned. What do you have? What are the lineup updates that you have?
The only thing I was told, just talking with some people with the team, is don't expect Brown, expect Dineen to play. And then Troy Stetcher is still in Edmonton. So That's the latest I got.
And Frederick was what do you have on Frederick?
Oh yeah, expect the new guy to play is what I was told, and that would be Trent Frederick.
Okay.
Yeah.
Not Quinn Hudson.
No, he's ineligible. Yeah. So yeah, there you go. You're up to date. I know we've kind of been talking about the lineup, but and you were talking about spec, basically like reading the tea leaves. If guy stays out late during a morning skate, like Kapanen was, that is an indicator that he won't be playing that night unless something changes. But and the other thing too, Kulak has his baby. What was it this morning? And he probably is in LA by now.
Right.
Hopping on. I'm guessing they sent a PJ for him.
Did that not happen with him 2 years ago? Or when did he first join the team?
3 years ago.
Did he not have
2 years ago?
I'm sure he had a child during the playoffs a couple of years ago.
Maybe. Brett, what are you doing? Think of the timing.
Back in 2022, Kulak's first child, Riley, was born between games 6 and 7 of Edmonton's opening round series. Wow. Yes, I just Googled that. Somebody else posted it. So that was when they played the Kings
2020
first time. That was the first year he was here. Was he here already for that? I guess he was.
Yeah, it was. Speaking of that, as Reid looks it up, you were talking about you had the Fox coffee. Big thanks to Jarrell and Michaela. They're expecting their first bebe, like maybe today.
Wow.
And Jarrell was like, "Yeah, I asked Michaela if we had the baby today, if we could name him Connor McBaby."
Oh, I think that would be great.
And Michaela said no. But thank you to Jarrell and Michaela for the coffee and.
Yeah, they fueled us.
Sandwiches. They fueled us. It was awesome.
You know who we've neglected mentioning is Evander Kane. Not ready.
Yeah, that's right. But I thought personally like he would play today, but that was last week. But I expect him to probably get in the lineup soon.
I thought the way they were talking about him last week, it sounded like
the way he was
a
talking
deal.
last week.
Do you guys find it odd? I don't know how much of the nasty chat. I haven't been following the nasty chat. I've had the computer on, but Gadra and I were in deep conversation. But there's been like conspiracy theories floating around. There's been discussions about like text messages and stuff like that. Has that been popping in? I have no idea.
I haven't seen any of that. What is it about?
I don't have a clue. I've honestly like tuned that out. I'm more focused on getting ready for game one and like the crazy conspiracies. Part of it was Kane and the league, and I think Friedman. Dusty was talking about it on the oil stream earlier. Like Friedman was kind of hinting about it, and the league kind of saying, "Hey, like it wouldn't be good if Kane played in game one." And they had the same thing about Landeskog with the Avs, but I don't know how much. Like if Friedman's saying it, I'd defer to Friedman.
Like a bad look because game one, boom, he's ready to go.
Yeah. So I mean, but then people were texting in to the inbox like, "Hey, have you seen so and so's message?" McDavid's text messages that were leaked. I'm like, no, I don't dive into that stuff, the mud, if you will. There's so much going on today that I'm like, that's not really of importance.
That's not important, Tom. You know what's important?
Tell me.
Reid and I just discussed it. The Oilers' special teams.
That's very important.
I think that's very, very important.
PK is going to need to be good. It was better and better as the season went on. Finished 16th in the league. Power play slipped, but that had a lot to do with McDavid and Draisaitl. Hyman being out. The Kings power play not very strong. It was, 27th in the league, I think, at the end of the season. And then the Kings PK was decent. So
8th,
yeah. That'll be, I mean, I'm curious to see how I think the power play will be fine, first of all. Like the Oilers power play. Those guys can click. They know how to work it off of each other without having practice. Like they don't practice a ton of power play. That's something that we need to talk about. Is like, Reid, we're down at the rink. How often are they working on the power play? Maybe for 10 minutes once a week.
Yeah, not that often that I see.
Yeah, and so it's more so meetings and video sessions and that. The PK, can the PK get to the level it did last year? If it can, amazing.
Or even approaching that.
That'd be hard to do.
Even if it was 85.
Can it?
Yeah.
Even if it was 85. I mean, this year to start the season, my goodness, they went on that one stretch. I think it was like 15 games in a row where they leaked one or two. And then it picked up for a little while, then it dipped again, and then basically coming out of Four Nations, it was rock solid again.
Well, let me ask you this. This came in from Rob the Plumber. We always hear that special teams have to be great, but depending on the refs, there might not be any penalties. Then what? Are the Oilers good enough 5-on-5 to win? Their team defense is key. What do you say about that?
I would say yes in this series. Just, I think they're the better team. I know we've been talking about it ad nauseum today, but I think when they want to buckle down and have their I'm not going to say flip the switch, but when they have their awakening in the postseason, I think they can handle themselves 5-on-5. And then especially if McDavid and Draisaitl are somewhat healthy and turn it into playoff McDavid and Draisaitl, those are huge difference makers. They're game changers. And so I kind of talked about this a bit this morning too, is like, have we talked ourselves, fans, media alike, in this market into not giving the Oilers the benefit of the doubt, pumping up the Kings to be something that they're not? I will appreciate and respect the Kings for addressing their goaltending needs, but they thought that they had addressed their goaltending needs for 3 straight years. And really, like, Korpisalo was the hot ticket item, the one trade deadline. They got him. He didn't lead them to playoff success. Then they went and they had Cam Talbot last year. Well, he didn't lead them to playoff success. Now it's Darcy Kemper's turn. Now, do I think Kemper's the best out of the 3 of them? Yeah, probably. But I don't know. I think the Oilers are going to be able to find ways to score on them. And I'll point to the way the Leafs got Ullmark moving yesterday in that game against Ottawa. And the Leafs had a bunch of power plays too. But you got Ullmark going side to side. There were seams available that the Sens left open. The Leafs exposed it. Do the same thing to the Kings.
Tom,
why are you yelling at me?
Because I like you.
Oh, okay.
The projected lines tonight are McDavid with Hyman and Brown. And then that means Jeff Skinner likely with Nugent Hopkins and Frederick. Late in the season, McDavid, Jeff Skinner, and Brown had some good games.
Sure.
Granted with other players out of action. Here's the question we've been asking all year. Like, is this unfair to Jeff Skinner? Do you think he should stay up there with McDavid and Brown, and then maybe you have Nugent Hyman together with another winger, and that spreads it out a little more?
Is it unfair to Jeff Skinner? No, because this is hockey at the highest level, and you're a pro, and the fact that you get to play is a privilege. Has he gotten a bad rep this year? Yeah, obviously. I mean, he was a healthy scratch. They wanted a certain type of game out of him that he has never really played in his entire career. Sound defensive hockey, 200-foot game. That has never been something we talked about with Jeff Skinner. So yeah, the whole, is it fair? Is it not fair? Who gives a crap? Throw that out the window. You're playing for the Stanley Cup, man. The reason why he's getting bumped out is because a guy that meshes better with Connor McDavid is going back into the lineup, and that's Zach Hyman. Connor Brown has the benefit of the doubt and the trust of the coaching staff over Jeff Skinner. Like, I get it. And I'll say the other thing too is, like, the lines that we have here and that we've been discussing, and we will again today on the Oil Stream pregame show brought to you by GCL Diesel. In Leon Draisaitl's words, it doesn't really matter.
Mm-hmm.
He said that the other day when we were interviewing him. He's like, it doesn't matter if I play with so-and-so and so. We've played with everybody. The lines change in the game. What we do in practice changes by that evening. It changes by the first period. It doesn't matter. And I believe that. So, like, what we take away from lines and rushes in the morning compared to what it ends up being in a game, I'm with Leon. And the guy said it. Like, doesn't matter. Who cares?
And I even wonder if they might start Perry with Nugent Hopkins and Skinner and have Frederick with Henrique and Janmark. I mean, to me, that's another possibility. But
sure.
Yeah, if you're playing well, it shouldn't matter. I mean, if Frederick plays how he played for the 6 minutes or whatever he played, what team did he play against? I don't
LA.
remember. Oh, against LA the first time.
Yeah,
when they lost, that was the 3-0 game, right?
That's right.
Then he'll be able to contribute and add what the Oilers need. So Ekholm's not going to play. Massive loss. And now, quite frankly, we're talking about Stetcher as a pretty significant loss because you're throwing Brown or Dineen in.
Yep.
And this is the biggest concern for me, is because these are AHL defensemen. I mean, I realize there are people out there who, especially with Dineen, who see him play and they're like, why wasn't he on the team? I get it, but even when he wasn't in the Oilers organization, he's been seen as an AHL defenseman.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think? And my theory is that one of Nurse, Kulak, Bouchard, and Wallman is always on the ice. I don't think they would dare put Emerson and Dineen out together. Or am I freaking out too much?
I mean,
Not
maybe in the first period we see them a couple of times. But yeah, I think their shifts will be minimal. Like we could see those four guys, Bouchard, Nurse, Kulak, and Wallman, all around 22 plus.
Well, if they're all at 24, that's 96, and then that just leaves 24 for the other two guys to divide.
Exactly. And like Emerson probably plays more than Dineen, so 14 and 10 or something like that.
Depending on how it goes, right?
But when it comes to Dineen and Josh Brown, like one guy, Dineen, has been logging like 25 to 30 minutes a night down in Bakersfield when they were in a dogfight to try to get into the playoffs with an injured roster, and the other part of it, and the reason why they were riding a Cam Dineen for 25 to 30 minutes a night had a lot to do with the fact that Josh Brown and Travis Dermott were just not in Bakersfield with the team for a full month. They had they were awaiting babies. Their wives were awaiting babies, and Brown just got back to Bakersfield right before he got called up to Edmonton. He wasn't skating. Dermott, same thing. They weren't skating. So that's why I would be very leery of putting Josh Brown into game one of the postseason. He's not the strongest defenseman to begin with. Sometimes he's a liability. Yes, he's big and tough. But the fact that the guy hasn't been playing hockey for that long at a lower level, that would scare the living bejesus out of me. So I think that's why Cam Dineen's probably going to get the nod tonight.
Do you think, too, that because, look, we hear it all the time, well, Knobloch is like a soft coach. He doesn't value physical play, which I don't think is true, but he is sort of the mindset, if you have the puck, if you like of course he preaches defending and coaches defending.
Yeah.
But you also hear a lot of, and not just remember around the NHL, the best defense is good offense. If you have a defenseman who can go back and get the puck up the ice quickly, you don't need him to clear the front of the net. You think that's what he's thinking Dineen is going to do? Like he gets back, moves the puck up before Byfield or Kempe run him or whatever.
Yeah, probably. I think there's something to that, Friedrich. Yeah. Now, the other thing is you can't have the puck the entirety of the game. You can have it for the majority of the game, sure. But there are going to be situations and moments where you do need to assert yourself physically, clear the front of the net, give your goalie a viewing lane. And I mean, Dineen's not the biggest guy, but he's going to have to find a way to battle and outmuscle guys that are bigger than him in front of the net, outsmart them, whatever it takes. Like, I don't think, like Brown would be better at that, but I don't know. I think Cam Dineen for a game or two can patch it together.
All right, before we let you go, I know Jay was going around the office doing this, but for people who didn't see the video that was on Instagram, and I know this question gets asked every year, but it is a fun one. Who's the Pisani this year for the Oilers? Who's the unexpected big goal scorer? I mean, you can't say McDavid or Draisaitl, Hyman or Nuge for this, really.
I'll stick with what I had in the video. Good idea, though, Jay. That was awesome. Arvidsson. I had Connor Brown being the Michael Pekka last year. We don't have one of those. I even demoted Connor Brown at one point to Peter Klima.
Oh, jeez.
But then I promoted him back to Michael Pekka. I just think Connor Brown's going to be Connor Brown this postseason. But yeah, I'll go Victor Arvidsson. And I think we're going to see Matthias Janmark shoot and score on an opposition goalie in this postseason.
In these playoffs?
Yeah.
Or in this series, I should say.
I'll say this series.
I've always liked this player, and I know I made a little bit of fun at him when the Oilers were not playing well, and I called him Adam Antique. But like Adam Henrique, he still has a good wrist shot.
Yep.
Now, he doesn't always get it off a lot, and he's not always playing with guys who put him in a position to get it off a lot. But you think of he had that one snipe, I think in Game 6 against Florida, where he kind of knocked down that aerial pass and just popped it into the post.
Yep.
And I hope that's a player because a lot of the Oilers we've sort of been waiting, and Jay and I are going to talk about this full flick the switch argument that you brought up a little bit later
Awakening.
on. You were talking about on the I think you were talking about it on the Hangout as well. But he's a player like Adam Henrique is your fourth line center. Like that's kind of a luxury.
Yep. Yeah, I like the concept of having four solid centermen, and then you can kind of build your roster around that. And then as the game goes on, depending on the situation, you can change things up. You can shorten the bench. You can stick with 10 forwards, and if there's two guys that suck, don't play them in the third period. That's fine. But if you're winning and you're cruising, and everything's kosher, you can just roll those 4 lines. Like they have depth. They really do. Is it ideal for everybody? No, but they have good NHL players on this roster, and that's important.
All right. If you're watching us on YouTube, thank you. Remember to subscribe to the channel and keep hitting that little thumbs up icon underneath the screen. I better explain that because people are just putting a thumbs up in the nasty chat. That doesn't count toward the thumbs up total. I think we got some new people, which is good.
Yes,
welcome.
great, welcome.
But click the thumbs up. We're 10 away from 200. Woo. We're not even halfway into the show. We want to get to 255. That's the goal we'll set. That would be a show record because we think the show record's about 225.
Yeah.
So keep clicking away. Share the link to the show with other people. Tell them to click. Say, hey, these guys are talking playoffs. These guys have been talking live playoffs since 6 this morning, all the way through to the start of the game tonight. And then Tom's on after the game as well with the postgame show.
That's right.
All right. You've been working hard today. Thanks for coming on our show.
Hang on. But just let me, I wanted to say, would it not be the best, or do you think for the Oilers fans, a feel-good story about who's the Pisani to be Jeff Skinner?
Yeah.
Never having played in the NHL playoffs. I mean, 15 years in the league, playing in his first NHL playoff game tonight. I mean, that just makes too much sense. You know, sometimes the stories write themselves.
Yeah.
I could just see it happening where it just, whoa, talk
I
about
see what
flipping
you
a
mean.
switch. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I like that.
And I think Oilers fans have been begging for that style of play because he's a likable guy.
He's become
he really is.
Like it's not the anti-hero, but it's like he's
become the underdog.
Become
the plucky underdog.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And I mean, by all means, this guy's had a great NHL career in the regular season. Obviously, he's made a ton of money. He's had accolades. He's been an All-Star. He's won a Calder Trophy. But yeah, maybe it's kind of something that he wants to prove it to himself and the hockey world that he's a big money player, and the big money is winning the big trophy at the end of the year. Maybe he rises to the occasion, scores a few clutch goals. That would be wonderful, Jay. I do like that idea of it. All this time and frustration, never make it to the postseason. Now you finally get your chance after maybe being a healthy scratch, considering how many times he was healthy scratch.
He could be the best NHL player to ever play in the perfect playoffs.
A couple people said that in the nasty chat, right? Like maybe he's the best playoff performer of all time.
Been waiting.
Finally getting a chance after 1,070 games or whatever it is.
Now, I hope that is the case, that we see some magic, or he could just be a guy out there.
Hey, stop that.
Okay, sorry.
That's enough common sense out of you.
I apologize.
All right, let's do the third clue in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. You must text your guesses to the afternoon inbox, 780-218-9999, presented by River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the Kitchen Restaurant, all-you-can-eat surf and turf for just $59.99 every Friday from 4 to 10 p.m. Tom, you are not eligible to win.
Damn.
And please do not give people any additional hints.
Fine.
Because I know you can see the name right here. The third clue is Kings. All right? So the clues are Cup Champ, Rangers, and Kings. Jay Milne predicted somebody would get it at this point.
Yeah, this is it.
Really?
I think it might take one more. The three clues are Cup Champ, Rangers, and Kings.
Yeah.
All right? You think somebody's going to get it now?
I think by the fourth clue they will.
Fourth.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
All right. Tom, thanks for sticking around. You're on at 6:30, Westgate BP. If you want to meet Tom in person, why wouldn't you?
Thank you.
Do people ever ask to touch your hair?
Yes.
Oh, my God.
Yeah.
What do you say?
Go for it.
Oh,
They're doing it.
Yeah.
They're doing it live.
Yeah. Do it live.
Okay. We still have more comments from Connor Brown and Chris Knobloch coming up. We're going to crunch the numbers for Gallo LLP. I will tell you this. The beginnings of series have not been gone very well for the Edmonton Oilers. I want to break that down. Here comes the Koob.
It's Oilers Kings game 1 down in LA. Stuart Skinner starts for Edmonton as head coach Chris Knobloch says that Trent Frederick is a game-time decision. Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas bring you the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. You can tune in at 6:30 only on EST. And 3 other playoff games on tap. Game 1 between the Caps and Habs opens the night before the Blues take on the Jets. Winnipeg up 1-0 in that series, while the Avs hold the Stars 1-0 entering Game 2, activating Captain Gabe Landeskog off the injured reserve. In Seattle, Dan Bilesma has been relieved of his head coaching duties, with Frank Saravalli from Daily Faceoff reporting that the team is also going to undergo some other changes, moving current general manager Ron Francis to a front office position while promoting Jason Botterill to take over as the GM. On the court, there's 2 games, having the Pistons battle the Knicks in Game 2. Detroit dropping Game 1, while the Nuggets tip off with the Clippers as Denver leads 1-0 in the series. And from Houston, the Jays challenge the Astros. Kevin Gausman starts for Toronto, seeing 8 games around the MLB. This sports update is brought to you by Paramount Flooring, proudly serving Edmonton and area for over 30 years. Their West End showroom is open 7 days a week. You can also shop online at ParamountFlooring.ca. The Reid Wilkins Show returns once we get back from a brief intermission. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Got some gently used furniture or home goods that need a new home? Find Edmonton is here to help. Every month we furnish over 100 homes to those transitioning out of homelessness, and we need your gently used furniture and home goods. Drop off at 5120 122nd Street or call for free local pickup. Just visit findedmonton.com to learn how your donations can help create a home for someone in need. Plus, shop our thrift store, in-store or online, with proceeds benefit those moving out of homelessness through housing supports. Visit us at findedmonton.com. Find Edmonton, supporting our community one home at a time.
Craving a late night snack? Hit the Banquet for our new late night happy hour. Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. till close. Try favorites like sweet and spicy lettuce wraps or our Banquet burger and fries, all at happy hour prices. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
The River Cree Resort and Casino presents Bump and Grind Rewind, May 16th, featuring Drew Hill. With Cisco and Genuine, plus DJ Hartman B. Bump and Grind Rewind. Friday, May 16th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
And there they go to Sentinel Storage. The snowblower and winter gear goes in. They shoot, we store.
Need extra space? Store your winter gear with Sentinel Storage and win extra space at home. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
All right, great to have you tuning in this afternoon. Just a reminder, if you're trying to win the $25 GC to Hudson's Canada's Pub for the mystery athlete of the game, we only accept guesses coming in on the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox, 780-218-9999. Any guesses in the nasty chat will be ignored. But remember, you could potentially be helping other people win it. Potentially. Just saying.
Man, the guesses are coming in, Reid.
The guesses are coming in, and there are no correct guesses.
Nobody has got it right as of right now.
The clues are Cup Champ, Rangers, Kings. So let's see if somebody gets it. I'll give out the next clue probably before 5. In about 20 minutes, we'll be joined by Stu MacDonald. He is the president and CFO for Oilers Entertainment Group. So we want to talk to Stu. Remember, we had him on at the start of the season, too. But we want to talk about the watch parties, the tickets, merchandise, all that kind of stuff surrounding the playoffs, because that's important to people. How can you consume the games? You know, depending on your price point, how can you be in a crowd of like-minded fans to consume the games and all that kind of stuff? So we want, and we know stuff is out there, but we wanted to get it straight from Stu, who's
the source,
who's always great to talk about stuff. I know he's excited and ready to go. Quickly here, well, not quickly here, a couple other things to get to. Connor Brown of the Edmonton Oilers talking about being on a line with Zach Hyman and Connor McDavid, at least to start tonight.
Two really close friends of mine, so that's something that's I just love getting out there with those guys, whether it's practice or a game. So, it kind of brings another level of excitement, and two guys that I've known for a long time and pretty close with, so excited to go to battle with them.
All right, Brown expected to start the game on that Oilers top line with McDavid and Hyman. As we transition to crunch the numbers for Gallo LLP, Chartered Professional Accountants, where they go beyond the numbers to ensure the continued success of your business, reach out to Preet or John at Gallo LLP. If you'd like to discuss further how they can crunch your numbers and help your business grow, visit their website, gallollp.ca, and see how Gallo LLP can help your business grow. You know, Jay, this Oilers team has, I guess, this era of the Oilers team, if you want to call it that, and I refer to it as the McDavid-Draisaitl era, going back to when they ended the playoff drought in 2017, right? And obviously Nuge and Nurse have been around that entire time, but McDavid and Draisaitl are the stars of the team, right? And they are the driving forces behind the Oilers being a relevant franchise, for the last few years. And like I said, 6 straight years in the playoffs. But they do have this reputation, and I think it's been earned at least to some extent. And I was talking about this morning, Dash from the Park and Pizza Boy were in on the hangout, and they chatted with us after a little bit. This era of the Edmonton Oilers has the reputation of being a team that doesn't really get going until they're staring disaster in the face.
Yeah.
Now, I don't think they're doing that on purpose. I think maybe some inexperience might have led to that in the past. But I get where it comes from. I mean, even if you look at the last 2 regular seasons, they didn't start very well, especially the previous year when they only had 3 wins in 13 games and Woodcroft got fired. You look at last year's playoffs. Always behind in the Vancouver series by a game, always catching up to tie it before you win Game 7. You look at the Dallas series, down 2-1, down 2-0 in the first period of Game 4, and then you play really well after that. And then, of course, the Stanley Cup final where you nearly pull off, it would have been the greatest comeback in NHL history, and you fall 1 game short. But, clearly they were a different team after Game 3. So for crunching the numbers, and this is something I've noted in the past covering the Oilers, and I was like, I gotta make a list of it and see what it is. So in the McDavid-Draisaitl era, games won in ONE, the number 1. 2017, back in the playoffs, lose 3-2 in overtime to San Jose. Did win the series. Then in the second round, you win 5-3 in Anaheim, lost the series. Okay. 2020, lost 6-4 to Chicago in that qualifying round, lost the series. 2021, first game, lost 4-1 to the Jets. I think the Jets scored halfway through the third period to break the tie and then got a couple empty netters. 2022, the Oilers played 3 playoff rounds, lost the first game in all of them. 4-3 to Los Angeles, 9-6 to Calgary, and 8-6 to Colorado. Avalanche won the Stanley Cup, of course. 2023, lost Game 1, 4-3 in overtime to the Kings. Oilers had a 3-1 lead in that game. LA tied it in the last minute with the goalie pulled. Kings won in overtime. Of course, the Oilers won the series. And then in the second round, lost 6-4 in Game 1 to Vegas. Last year, the Oilers played 4 rounds. They did win the first game against the Kings, 7-4. Lost 5-4 to Vancouver in Game 1. Remember, they blew a lead in that game, I think mostly in the second period. Game 1 of the Western Final, they won it 3-2 in double overtime. Bouchard setting up McDavid in the first minute of the second overtime. And then they lost 3-0 in Game 1 of the Cup Final to the Florida Panthers. So in 13 opening games in the McDavid-Draisaitl era, the Oilers have gone 3-10 in Game 1.
What are you trying to say, Reid?
I'm trying to say that they often lose Game 1. And sometimes they still win the series. Yeah, a few times, actually.
Yeah, but you listen, if you've been following this team and are an Oilers fan, that's not foreign to you. You're aware of that, right?
Right.
Whether you want to believe it or not, that they tend to, numbers show they come out flat. And we ran out of time with Tommy, but that was, for tonight's Game 1. You almost want to see this team come out and dominate the first period, right? To see if they can change that, if they're aware of that. You and I talked about Toronto and Winnipeg earlier in the show and how, Toronto looked very impressive. Winnipeg looked very impressive. And now this older more mature group of Oilers, how are they going to handle this game one? Because that, they know about that too.
They probably have a vague memory of it.
Sure.
Yeah, I don't know how much they're dwelling on it, but they.
I don't think
know.
Yeah.
I don't know if they would know it's 3-10, but especially McDavid would probably know. Like, yeah, I think we've kind of not always done well in first games. Now, look, a couple of those series, they would have been underdogs for sure. But it was crazy that one year. I mean, they lost 9-6 to Calgary, and now 8-6 to Colorado, a series they got swept in, and we're not expected to win, to be fair. But the opening game of series has not gone well. Now, as I always remind people, the other team is trying really hard as well, and LA will tonight. But that's their game one record in this year of the team. Consider those numbers crunched for Gallo LLP. What else you want to get into here? I want to emphasize this stat because look, I know I've picked the Oilers. A lot of us at EST are trying to be optimistic.
Sure, why not?
And I saw, now I'm starting to see people like, oh, you guys are disrespecting. We're not disrespecting the LA Kings. I think the LA Kings are an excellent team who had an excellent season. Of course, I think they could win the series. I'm just saying, let's not hand LA the mantle of the greatest team of all time before any games have been played. Right?
Sure.
I mean, it's going to still to be decided. But that 5-on-5 stat from the regular season, and sometimes trends in the regular season go out the window, but it's indicative of LA's strength. They outscored their opposition 5-on-5, 177 to 125. It's plus 52. I mean, they only allowed a goal and a half a game against 5-on-5 throughout the course of the regular season. The Oilers were actually outscored 5-on-5, so -3, 172 to 169. I do think that's significant to remember.
Yeah, unfortunately, it is. I talked to you about this earlier, but no overtime games yet. Since 2019, 23% of playoff games have required an overtime, which would suggest, if you're just looking at numbers and you think that they would hold true, that over the next night, tonight and tomorrow night, there will be 2 games that go to overtime. But Corey Perry, speaking of overtime, he's tied for 3rd in NHL history, playoff history, with 5 overtime goals. He's 1 away from Maurice Richard with 6.
And who's the winner?
Sakic tops the list with 8.
Didn't Bossy have 6?
No? Maurice Richard. Joe Sakic is far and away, but if he, so you're wondering.
I knew Sakic took the
Corey
record.
Perry has played 215 games.
Yeah, he's played basically 3 extra seasons. Yeah. It's crazy.
It's nuts. So that puts him at 12th in NHL history. I believe it's something, if he gets 6 or more this postseason, that'll elevate him into the top 10. So it's pretty tall feat. But I mean, like what you said, it's almost 3 extra seasons that Corey Perry has paid and been contributing. So if you're looking for somebody to what do they call it? Overtime magic?
Yeah. Did you notice who's up there?
Tell me.
Carter Verhaeghe.
Yes.
Has 5 overtime goals in 69 playoff games.
Yeah.
That's quite a rate. Gretzky had 4 overtime goals in his career. Dale Hunter had 4. A whole bunch of guys had 4. Tikkanen, Richer, Marleau. I'm just randomly picking names. Mike Bossy only had 3. Wow.
As far as games played and overtime goals scored, Carter Verhaeghe is on fire.
He's got the best ratio. Like everybody else is over 100, or even in Glenn Anderson's and Corey Perry's case, over 200.
Chris says, I heard Frederick is a game time decision this morning, but I'm hearing from other sources he is playing. Is that true, Reid?
Tom said that, did he not?
Tom said that he would expect to see Trent Frederick in the lineup.
And that we will not see Stetcher until game 3 at the earliest. Tom also, Stetcher's still in Edmonton.
Stetcher's here, yes.
Right, and we expect, according to Tom, we expect Cam Dineen to play, not Josh Brown on defense. So, some things to consider. Some other stats here for crunching the numbers for Gallo LLP. And again, you can throw these out the window once the series starts. Oilers 11th in goals for in the regular season. Kings were 14th. Goals against, Kings quite a bit better than Edmonton. They were 2nd, 2.48 per game. Oilers 14th, 2.87. This is interesting. Shots per game. The Oilers led the NHL with 32 shots per game. The Kings were 18th, 28.1. But as you might expect, the Kings don't allow a lot of shots. Second best in shots against per game, 25.5. Oilers are actually pretty good. 9th at 27. Face-off percentage, if you want me to dive that deep, why not? Oilers 50.9. That was 12th in the NHL. Kings 50.6. 14th in the NHL. Also, Draisaitl's become a pretty good face-off man. Henrique had some really good games this season. I think on special teams and late game situations, the special teams can mean a little bit more. Basically the numbers. I'm not going to call it just defensive play. I'm going to call it goal prevention, goal and chance prevention favor the LA Kings. A lot of the stats in terms of goal creation favor the Edmonton Oilers.
Fair enough.
So what's going to win out? Can the Oilers get to Kemper? And of course, we haven't even talked about the Oilers goaltending. You need Stu Skinner to be the goaltender he was most of last year's playoffs, and the goaltender he was during that middle part of the season when the Oilers went 22-6-1. I mean, he was pretty good in their 23-6-1 or whatever it was. He was pretty good in that era and in that stretch, and the Oilers were better defensively in front of him. So that's a quick look at crunching the numbers for Gallo LLP. All right, we are at 220 thumbs on the YouTube stream. We want at least 35 more because we want to get to 200 and we're almost at a show record. But don't delay.
Let's go.
And keep sharing the link to the show with other people who want to know about the playoff. And it doesn't have to be a sports fan. This is the time to bring in those people who are like, hey, I'm the only one at work who doesn't seem to be following everything. Where can I go to find out a little bit more about the storyline? Send them here. We're here all day doing it. Here comes the Koob and Stu MacDonald, Oilers president, OEG president and CFO when we get back.
Game day is finally here for the Oilers. Edmonton visits LA for Game 1 of the playoffs. Trent Frederick is a game-time decision with Stuart Skinner taking the crease for Edmonton. And live from Boston Pizza Westgate, Tom Gazzola has the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show alongside Hernan Salas 90 minutes before puck drop right here on EST. And the Kraken have fired Dan Bilesma, relieving him from his head coaching duties. Daily Faceoffs, Frank Saravalli reporting that the team is making some other adjustments, moving general manager Ron Francis to a front office position, promoting assistant general manager Jason Botterill to take his place. From Washington, Logan Thompson starts for the Caps, according to Frank Saravalli. In Game 1 against the Habs, while the Jets look to take a 2-0 lead over the Blues on a 3-game slate. 2 games on the court, including Detroit hosting New York as the Knicks hold the Pistons 1-0 entering Game 2. And having 8 games in the MLB, the Jays and Astros duke it out. Kevin Gausman gets the ball for Toronto. This sports update is brought to you by Find Edmonton, and Find takes your unused furniture and home goods to help those moving out of homelessness. Get donations picked up or drop them off free of charge. Visit findedmonton.com or call them at 780-988-1717. We have a quick break before Stu MacDonald from OEG checks in with Reid and Jay. I'm Zachary Kubusch, and you're up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
You've always known GCL Diesel as the experts in diesel fuel systems, but did you know that GCL is also your source for turbochargers and turbo repair? As a turbo supplier for Garrett, Borg Warner, and Holset, GCL can provide genuine original equipment turbos at wholesale prices. Whether it's diesel, gas, natural gas, or performance, we can provide you with the turbo or custom repair you require. Turbo questions? We've got turbo answers. Visit us in the West End or online at gcldiesel.com. GCL Diesel, turbochargers, understood.
Downsizing, upsizing, or staging your home to sell? Sentinel Storage is Edmonton's team for affordable storage solutions. Try 4 weeks free. Details at sentinelstorage.ca.
Sentinel Storage, proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
Since 1952, William Huff has been the heartbeat of Edmonton's advertising world. From humble beginnings to a citywide powerhouse, we've been the go-to for signage from print to design and installation. Partnering with Edmonton's top sports franchises and major events, we've helped shape the city's global reputation. Our secret? Unmatched customer service, decades of experience, and a passion for excellence we call the William Huff Advantage. Visit us online at williamhuff.com.
Oh, you're almost there, Oil Country. Playoffs in what, about 3.5 hours? Finally, Oilers Kings tonight in Los Angeles. Jay Milne, Reid Wilkins at the EST Global HQ. In the banquet studio, celebrate your birthday at the Banquet Bar. Amazing drinks, great vibes, and unforgettable memories. Book your party today at thebanquetbar.com. So exciting in the postseason. I mean, our Oilers fans are incredible. Our city looked great. Fans looked great during that run last year. When Game 7 was played, the days were actually getting shorter. But I mean, so many people from around the country were like, wow, that's Edmonton. Look at the fans gathering outside, all the stuff going on. So to touch on some of those opportunities for fans, I am pleased to be joined by the president and CRO of OEG. It is Stu MacDonald joining us on Edmonton Sports Talk. Stu, it's Reid and Jay. How are you doing?
Yeah, I'm great. How about you guys?
We're doing great. It's nice to see you. Thanks for doing this. I know it's an incredibly busy time for you and your staff. So we'll dive right in here. Different situation. First couple games on the road, so we're diving right into the watch parties. What are some of the indoor and outdoor opportunities for fans to gather publicly tonight downtown?
So tonight it's, I'll say outdoor intent. So we've got a concert in the arena tonight. So our first Rogers road game watch party inside Rogers Place will be on Wednesday night. But tonight the Plaza's going with the Ford tailgate party, and Play Alberta Fan Park is up and running like last year, and the Molson Hockey House tent is up and going there. So not that we need weather protection today, but it's there to ensure if you want to be indoors, we've got you covered that way as well. And gates for both open at 7, all ages, both locations. So come on down with your buddies or your family. We're ready to take you in.
Okay, so how many people, because I remember last year for Game 7, it might have been you directly texted me during the face-off show I used to do, said, you got to tell people not to come because it's already full and they're going to miss the start of the game going back home. But what are we talking about for the numbers that we can get there?
Well, we can hold a few thousand in both locations. So, and I think starting off, and we're starting on a Monday, coming off Easter weekend, I would say if you're coming down this way, making your way down for 7, you're probably in good shape to get in. But we did see that last year on a number of games. The closer it got to game time, the more challenging it was with the Linus that continuing to build. So early again, gates to both will open at 7:00 and be ready for a puck drop just after 8:00.
You know, I referenced how the fan base in the city looked on TV last year. And I know that wasn't the first time we had public gatherings, but that was the first time we had it for to the Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final. I mean, looking at that, I'm guessing, and you can elaborate, there's probably the business side of it for you that you're proud of and seeing, the vision Daryl Cates had. And then there's just the Edmontonian side of it too, right? That look at what everybody's doing to come out and support our hockey team.
No, totally true. Like one was, I always say, if you go back to the first renderings that were created for what Ice District could look like and what Rogers Place could look like before construction even started on Rogers Place, a lot of the conversations with the Plaza were built around what it would look like during an Oilers playoff game. And we established that early, and it just continued to grow to the point where we've had to add Fan Park to it. But to me, it's incredible what Ice District has become, and it's certainly one of the top entertainment and sports entertainment districts in North America, and what it's done for downtown. But to me, what really hit home was we were at league meetings last summer in Boston, and it seemed like every team come up and was like, seriously, you guys, like, come on. you're killing us with our owner. Everyone expects we can be like Edmonton. And it caught everybody's attention. And I mean, certainly everyone knows the passion of Oilers fans. We know how lucky we are to live in oil country on a daily basis. I mean, they are with this club through thick and thin and have proven that time and time again. But to see the rest of the world with how long the run went last year and the television numbers in the finals, there's people who just, you heard it, and I'm sure it's easy to go like, yeah, sure, like every other market. And then you see it and go like, holy cow, like this is unlike anywhere else. And I think anyone who was down here last year got to experience inside the arena, inside on a home or road game, or outside for either. Like it's a moment you'll remember forever. And I think that's the cool part of what we've got going here, but all driven by the passion of Oilers fans and their ability. The most important part probably is their ability to have fun and celebrate together in a really, respectful and safe way. There's certainly lots of food and beverage located on site, including a couple that are more high test than others on the beverage side, but it's really almost no issues that we deal with down here. It's just fans have been so respectful to each other and just want to celebrate Oilers wins.
Okay. All right, here's the next big question. Home game tickets. Can people still find them? What do they do?
They can. I think we're skinny down to mainly lower bowl available for Friday and Sunday's game, but EdmontonOilers.com always for anything playoff related. All the answers are located there, but there are tickets available. They continue to move pretty quickly. They took a big bump last Thursday when the schedule got announced. And I think we'll continue to see. But if someone's thinking now and still debating what they want to do, for sure there's still an opportunity to jump on that and get inside the building and enjoy the ride.
Yep. Stu, I wanted to ask you, I mean, as you're going down to the game, I mean, you see it, and that is, what does Edmontonians proud and how they look so fantastic on TV is all the merch. The merch they're wearing, the Oilers orange. And it just boggles my mind to think about how you as an organization have to structure the purchases of merch and what's moving and what's hot and what's going to sell this postseason. But, I wanted to ask you, I mean, is it just simply a Connor McDavid jersey, or what is the most coveted piece of merch that the Oilers would sell to their fans?
Well, jerseys, certainly we're one of the league leaders in jerseys. All you need to do is walk in the arena to see that. But every year there's something new that comes along. 2-3 years ago as the fan chain came out, and that was giant, not only in size of the chain, but in the volumes that were purchased. And that's continued with versions of that. Each year's got something unique. I know our retail team will have something out, but I just walked by my office about 5 minutes ago. I'll let you all know that the shorteralls are back this year. The Oilers branded overalls that only come down to your knees are back in living color. So it really is an opportunity for us to continue to find fun things that allow our fans to celebrate Oilers playoffs. And the great thing now is we can use 4 seasons worth of apparel, because pretty much as a guarantee we're going to hit 4 seasons of weather over the course of an 8-week playoff run. But yeah, it's one of the fun parts of it. It's crazy when you see the passion our fans have for Oilers merch, though. And we talked about this throughout the playoffs last year, and Reid, you and I probably chatted about it, but the team, set records in a lot of areas, including merch sales in the finals for the NHL. And I look at it and stand at the gates nightly and go, okay, everybody coming in has a jersey on, have like Oilers shoes on. Like, what are you possibly buying and where are you putting it? Because we're moving a lot of stuff in building. And, but it's just part of the fun of everyone celebrating. People are goes from 1 jersey to 3 jerseys over the course of the playoffs. And certainly having summer attire is a big thing, or getting stuff for the friends or relatives because they're live at the game. And it really has been an advantage for us to have the Oilers Store and Ice District in the plaza open, because now it's not just having to be in the arena to get to the source or be on game day in Fort Hall. You can get it 7 days a week at the Oilers Store in the plaza. So, but it is there aren't too many areas that you don't sit back and look at Oilers fans and just go, wow, it's just incredible, their passion for this team.
All right, I'll wrap it up with the another huge story, has been for several years. What's going on with the 50-50 into the postseason?
I can guarantee it's going to continue to get bigger. And we will create millionaires during the course of the playoffs. Yes. Those are two guarantees that, again, it's just another story. It's one of those, as I said, you show up at league meetings and there's a few things. Last year was, the long run and seeing our fans, but every league meeting you go to is like, okay, tell us about this 50-50 again. Like, seriously, $1 million prizes. And like, yep. It's unlike any place else in the National Hockey League. I mean, Northern Alberta has always had a great history going back decades for 50-50 draws, regardless of the sport. But it's got to a point now. It's it's nuclear on the size of the jackpots, and really all it seems to take is just once it gets going, it gets up to the high six figures, then it's just off on its own. And we saw that a number of games last year. So the great thing is lots of funds being generated for communities, charities throughout oil country and our communities. And we're, sending a few people home who will probably be able to pay for their season tickets for the next year and have a couple of bucks left over.
Just went on the website. Jackpot is $587,000 and growing, obviously. So, yeah, incredible stuff. Okay, Stu, always great to see you. I know it's incredibly busy, but thanks for hopping on Edmonton Sports Talk. I know I'll see you around the rink during the playoffs. Thanks for everything. Hope it's a long run again.
Yeah, my pleasure. And hopefully we're doing this for, I don't know, maybe another 8 weeks.
Yeah, right on. Stu MacDonald checking in, President and Chief Revenue Officer for OEG Sports and Entertainment. So good getting straight from him. Told you about the watch parties. 7 o'clock tonight, those outdoor ones, free to get in, all ages. It shouldn't be too much of a rush tonight on a Monday. I guess some people maybe still not working today, but nonetheless, hopefully it's a long run. He makes a good point. Like, they're still up there in merch sales, yet everybody seems to be fully adorned in merch. But there's always something, right?
Got to get the new stuff.
Always somebody.
I want those overalls.
Have you ever worn short overalls? That's probably not something I would wear.
I've worn jorts, where I take old jeans and turn them into shorts, but never short overalls?
I think he called them short overalls. Yeah.
Wow. That would be something else.
I do remember when those Oilers, the chains came out.
Yeah.
I'd see those people. I see people wearing them in Studio 99, and you'd just be surprised they could hold their heads up normally.
They're very light. Do you that was all inspired from Flavor Flav, right? Like, it has to be.
Sure.
With the clock.
I'll take your word for
and
it.
The chains.
Yeah, okay.
I mean, it's got to be.
All right, that was Stu MacDonald. Good to get the lowdown on him. And some of the stuff going on for fans, we wanted to get it straight from him. Watch party, 50-50, merchandise, tickets for home games, as he said, still some available in the lower bowl for games 3 and 4. And I believe all the resale stuff you can do through the Oilers website as well. I got to catch up on some limericks here coming in to read at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. Chris says, there was once a team that plays in orange and blue. Their fans in an uproar, fueled by booze and brew. Demands stated plainly, the cup of Stanley. The Los Angeles Kings are nothing but a pile of poo. Okay. Pretty good. I admire going a little bit off book with Plainly and Stanley. Who is this one from? This is from William Mikespear. It's an Easter-themed limerick. Oh, my God. He is risen on this day from the bed on which he lay. Much joy he gave us. He's here to save us. Leon's back, and he will play.
Well done.
Okay, that's pretty good.
Keep it going. I got one here.
I still have 3 more. We can catch up.
I got one from Vancouver Mike. I want to get your thoughts on it.
Okay.
A sports talking holiday at home on a Monday, feeling just right. Glue guy and Reid in my sight. Sports talk on display. Go Oilers, we pray. A strong game would make the night bright.
Not bad. I think the first line actually was maybe some of the syllables in the first line need to go to the last line, but for a first try, it's pretty good.
Not bad.
Yeah, we encourage people, and when I offer feedback, it's for improvement, not for mocking.
Oh, absolutely.
Because we have seen some people really come a long way, which is pretty cool. I got more we want to get to. Again, we have an extended edition of this show today.
Yeah.
We're going to be on until 6:30, and then no break in the stream. We go right to the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas with 6:30. Games at 8. They're going to be on after the game. I'm going to be doing something after the game with them as well, so that'll be fun. If you're taking us in on YouTube, thanks for doing so. And continue. If you haven't done it yet, click the thumbs up button.
I think we got to change our goal. I mean, 255's well in sight. But let's see how high we can go.
Well,
Why
yeah,
not? Why not dream?
We want to go as high as possible.
Yeah, let's do it.
But we need 15 more to get to 255, which was we have set a show record.
We have
2/3 of the less than 2/3 because we got an extra long show today. So again, encourage other people to check out the stream on YouTube. And again, if you're listening on iHeartRadio or TuneIn Radio app, we still appreciate it. They just don't have a thumb button for us to count.
I've had several people write in the nasty chat saying, hopped off the audio stream to jump on YouTube just for the thumbs up. So thank you. We're doing it.
All right. We got the 5 o'clock break. We got our game of the night. We got buying or selling. We got a double word of the day. And we got the extended show until 6:30. Here comes a break and then the Koob.
The EST Hangout.
When it comes to fresh food at the table to be shared, there might be an agreement at the start, but things change once the food goes cold.
If it was in one bowl, you're in food sharing territory. You separated them and you went, we're not sharing this anymore. So now it's no longer a shareable thing, and you finished yours and you didn't let him finish his.
The EST Hangout, presented by Sentinel Storage. Weekday mornings 9 to 11, only on Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Spin to win Fridays at the Banquet. Every Friday, spin the wheel for a chance to win big and save on your bill. It's that easy. Spin, win, and save. Don't miss out. Details at thebanquetbar.com. The Banquet. Get real. Play hard.
At Mind 360, we invite you to embark on your mental health journey in a safe and comfortable space. Conveniently located in St. Albert, Mind 360 has a diverse team of experienced clinicians that offer a broad range of tailored services for children, adults, and families. Furthermore, we are very proud to serve our military, veterans, and first responders. If you're looking for counseling, treatment, or assessment, understand that you are not alone. Contact Mind 360 at mind360.ca to book an appointment today.
Looking for quality building materials and friendly advice? Visit us at Windsor Plywood Leduc, family owned and locally run since 1993. From interior materials for doors, flooring, baseboards, and all the finishing touches to all you need for your outdoor projects like cedar lumber for decks and fences, plus all the plywood you'd need. Our full-time on-staff carpenter can help with anything odd-sized or custom, and from domestic hardwoods to exotic selections, we've got you covered. And if we don't have it, we'll track it down for you. Windsor Plywood Leduc. We're the experts you need to know.
Game day is here for the Oilers. Edmonton visits LA for game 1 of the playoffs. Trent Frederick is a game-time decision for the Oilers. Stuart Skinner takes the crease. And live from Boston Pizza Westgate, Tom Gazzola has the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show alongside Tom Gazzola, or Hernan Salas, 90 minutes before puck drop, right here on EST. And in just a moment, the Habs and Caps face off for game 1 of their series. No Alexi Protas or Martin Ferivari in Caps warm-up with Logan Thompson starting for Washington. And the Kraken have fired Dan Bilesma, relieving him from his head coaching duties. Daily Faceoff's Frank Saravalli has reported that the team is also making some other moves, shifting General Manager Ron Francis to a front office position, promoting assistant general manager Jason Botterill to take his place. 2 games on the court, including Detroit hosting New York as the Knicks hold the Pistons 1-0 entering game 2. That one's just about to get underway. 3 games are live in baseball. The Padres are up 1-0 in the first inning against the Tigers. Later, the Jays and Astros duke it out. Kevin Gausman gets the ball for Toronto. I'm Zachary Kubusch. That was your sports update. The third hour of the Reid Wilkins Show starts right now.
Step inside Rogers Place. Play La Bamba, baby. Play La Bamba, baby.
Well, we're a dangerous team when we're rolling, and we're healthy, and we are healthy.
Cup is on the line, baby, come and get it done. 16 wins, yeah, they're going on a run. Looking to advance, going deep in the dance. Hop on the bandwagon, let's hear the fans.
Special place to play, honestly.
There's the playoff song. Debuted on the Nielsen Show on Thursday. Maybe we'll sneak the whole thing in before we sign off at 6:30?
I think we'd have to.
I think we have to. Well, I don't know. We could either do it like at 6 in our extra, or we could end the. Why don't we end the show with it at like 6:23?
I like that. I like the more the merrier, Reid.
Yeah,
because look what the Nasties have done for us, Reid.
They've done a lot.
They've done a lot.
We've reached the goal we set out for. So we have a 3.5-hour show today. In 2 hours and 5 minutes, we have hit our goal of 255 thumbs. Here's what I say: keep pouring on the gravy. Forget about sugar. Pour some gravy on me. Pour some gravy on me, Nasties. I want your gravy all over me.
Did you have gravy over the weekend?
No, I didn't actually.
You didn't?
What did you have for Easter dinner?
Turkey,
Easter lunch, or whatever.
We went down to Crossfield yesterday.
Okay.
We had turkey, stuffing, all the fixins, mashed potatoes, you name it. It was really good.
We had ham, Koob, couple like a basic green salad. My cousin made a potato salad, but it had like asparagus and feta and something in it.
Yeah.
Capers, really good.
Oh, the more the merrier in a potato salad.
Yeah, I mean, we had the pirishka, the rice buns and the cream. What else was there? I can't remember. I mean, there was always just the basic vegetables, the blessed bread. My mom's going to be mad. I can't remember the name.
Oh, this is a Ukrainian staple.
Yeah, it was good. But no, there wasn't, and it was like a midday. Like we ate around 1:30 on Saturday. Pirishka, I believe. There's pompushka and there's pirishka.
It's not the best bread. Let's just say that. Like it's not.
Oh, the bread. The bread is Pascha. Pascha, yes.
Yeah, I've always found Pascha to be underwhelming.
Well, you got to put something on there. Adam Banks in the nasty chat. Hello, Adam. How's it going?
Any kucha?
No, I think kucha is just at Christmas. Okay. I'm not a big kucha guy, as you know. But hey, you can eat whatever you eat. It was a nice combination.
Yeah, it's family. You get together with family. That's what it's for.
Yeah, it was really nice. And it's funny too because I think I've sort of talked this before. Like my relatives have varying degrees of sports knowledge. And look, you and I are immersed in it. So of course, like we're looking at the standings all the time. So my cousin, and I think we should have to acknowledge, as we're talking about the McDavid and Draisaitl era, it's pulled people in to watch games who maybe weren't, because hey, this team plays in my city and they win more than they lose. That's pretty cool.
Sure.
So you get to watch, but not everybody knows seeding and who's good in the East or who plays who in the next round. Like it's not like people have a lot going on in their lives.
Absolutely.
Let's face it. And that's why we're here for an escape or to give you, let you know what's going on. So my one cousin said to me, so we didn't make playoffs. And I was really surprised because my mom had been telling me that she'd been watching games and will say she likes Hyman. And I was like, well, no, we made playoffs, but they start Monday. And she said, no. I mean, we didn't get first place. So she was kind of using the terms like she knew they were in the playoffs, but she used the term for first, whatever. And I said, well, no, they won't get first place. She's like, well, that's too bad. And I was like, what? Now it doesn't matter, because now it's just playoffs.
It's
so you just gotta win the series. So I think she's focused for the postseason now.
I found my brother-in-law, my nephews, they entered an NFL or an NHL playoff draft. Just kind of more for fun,
right?
But it really made them, more involved in playoff hockey. It's a simple way to do it if you wanted to, but that's what we're here for. Reid.
Oilers Kings at 8. So here's what I can tell you. We expect Trent Frederick to play, and we expect Kapanen to be scratched. Tom Gazzola also telling us that we expect Cam Dineen to be in on defense. Troy Stetcher is actually in Edmonton, not even with the team. So the 6 defensemen tonight, we expect to be, and again, guys, I'm not even going to bother with pairings because I think there's going to be several different pairings throughout the game. Nurse, Bouchard, Kulak, Wallman, Emberson, and Dineen are expected to be the 6 defensemen who play tonight. Draisaitl's back. Haven't seen him in a while. Hyman with McDavid and Brown. Draisaitl centering Podkolzin and Arvidsson. And then Nuge, we expect with Skinner and Frederick. Maybe Perry goes up there. And then Henrique, Janmark, Perry also in the lineup as the Oilers start this series on the road. for the first time in their 4 meetings with the Kings.
I know we got to get to game of the night, but I just want to get this. I've had this asked several times now about Kane, about Evander Kane.
He's not playing tonight.
He's not playing tonight.
Yep.
Now, you heard what he said last week. We all did.
It sounded like, even from what Knobloch said, it sounded like he would be ready for game 1. I thought.
Yeah. Are you surprised by that?
A little bit, yep.
I would say I am. And it's not like you're sitting here and Tom over there is saying, well, there's a little more to the story. Nobody knows. We can just tell you what we know is that he's not playing tonight. He's with the team in LA.
Yes.
But that's about all we know.
Yep. So we'll see if he can go in game 2 in a couple of days. Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Jay at EdmontonSportsTalk.com is the email. Got a limerick here from VR Montenegro.
Oh, wow. Okay.
It's apparent that the Oilers take pride in keeping the Kings on a first-round schneid. Reid has called it in 4, but I'll give them one more. Trophy heads are best kept in formaldehyde. Rhyming pride, schneid, and formaldehyde. That's pretty good. That is pretty good. Bronco Nick, who's become a pretty prolific limerick writer. Playoff hockey is finally here. Defensive struggles we do fear. Our team will fight with all of their might. 4-1 Oilers win, I hear. That's from Bronco Nick. Good stuff coming in.
Is that tonight or is that the series?
Could be both.
Could be both, bro.
We'll just say he predicted everything 4-1. Whole series is going to be 4-1. Even the game the Kings, he has the Kings winning.
TBD, bro.
TBD. It's all TBD, bro. All right, let's hit our game of the night. By the way, I'll give the 4th clue. No one's won it. Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game.
No.
I'll give the 4th clue in 5 to 10 minutes before we break at 5:20, around there. I'm surprised no one has got it.
I am.
Well,
too.
actually, you know what? I'm not.
You're not.
Now that I'm hearing some of the guesses, I'm not as surprised because I forgot how many players those first 3 clues could apply to. Seriously. I know
you honestly did. I know that.
I know I'm a cheeky little punk, but then I'm like, oh yeah, that does make sense.
Maybe you're just doing it subconsciously now.
I'm just self-consciously villainous. That's how villainous I am. I don't even know when I'm doing it. Our game of the night is presented by Playmore Tables and Games, from ping pong and pool tables to darts and dome hockey, plus all the classic arcade action you could ask for. Visit Canada's game room experts. Locations in Edmonton and Calgary are online at playmoregames.ca.
Playmore Tables and Games.
Okay, so Oilers Kings, obviously. So from the other playoff games, if I could only watch one, as much as I have been gushing about the magnitude and the quality of play for Jets Blues, I would pick the game we currently have on the ESTV. It's about to start, and that is Capitals against the Canadiens. The Capitals had a great season. Ovechkin was remarkable. Logan Thompson in net for the Caps went 31-6-6. Washington should win. But the storyline was too much of the end of their season about Ovechkin and not enough about being in playoff form. And the Canadiens have kind of been playing playoff hockey for a few weeks just to get in. So that would be my game of the night.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there's one game for anybody in this market, but maybe. But I will go outside of it because it would be too obvious to say Oilers Kings. But I'm going to go to the NBA. I like my light starts. Reid, 8 p.m. Clippers at Denver. That was an intense game 1. So I'm looking to that. But if I had to pick, honestly, if I was going to pick an NHL game other than the Oilers Kings that I would like to watch, I want to see how Dallas rebounds from that shellacking they took from Colorado in game 1. This was, by many, it appeared to be a coin flip, but not by game 1 standards. So, I mean, if Colorado can steal both games in Dallas,
yeah,
that would be all but done.
Any team I've picked to win the Stanley Cup has been out of it early. Predators in the regular season. Maybe Dallas down 2-0 at home. Yeah, it could be.
Did you give them the Nashville curse?
I could have given them the persnickety Predators pounce.
Oh, no.
So this leads well into my next limerick. I wrote some limericks today as well, as the Capitals get a glorious opportunity in the first minute of the game, and Sam Montembeault comes up with a huge save. Here we go.
How fitting.
Is there a fan club for Montembeault? Jay Milne would like a membership, superstar keeper? Could he be a sleeper to be a Habs legend like Guy Carbo? I guess I could have done the full name. Guy Carbonneau would have fit there too.
Yeah, but you would have had to throw a little
So I like
inflection
shortening
into
it to Guy Carbo to be goofy.
Man, well, that's why.
Remember Guy Carbonneau?
Of course.
He's in the Hall of Fame. Not sure why.
Luscious locks.
Very good player. Don't know if he's a Hall of Famer. Just saying.
Mm-hmm. You don't think he's a Hall of Famer?
No, I don't.
Okay.
I actually don't.
Why do you
and
think
I
he's
liked
in there,
watching
then?
him play because he was very good at checking and was decent offensively, but I don't know if I would consider him a Hall of Famer.
Because his hair?
I'm not factoring in his hair, Jay. I'm sorry.
Well,
did Carbonneau have hair that great? I don't remember.
It was always wavy and flowing in the air, what was left of it anyways.
Yeah, I guess.
You know, it was a beautiful, it was nice, soft.
He coached the Habs for a while, remember?
Yeah.
Okay, keep giving us the thumbs up on YouTube. We're having a really good day there. We've set a show record. You guys have rallied, and we're with you until 6:30 tonight. Well, about 6:25, and then Tom will take over at 6:30. Tom and Hernan, the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. Oilers and Kings coming up at 8 o'clock. Adam Banks says he reinvented himself from a scoring player to a defensive player. Was it that much for reinvention? Maybe I'm not remembering that well. I did watch a lot of Canadians hockey in that era, though.
Reid, you asked Tom this question earlier when he was on, and I want to ask you, as you said we did a little video for, who's going to be the X factor or who's going to be this year's Fernando Pisani. I like that you could just say that, though. Isn't that like, if you're Fernando Pisani, wasn't that everybody's cousin? Wasn't that the moniker or something like that when he, oh yeah, he's my distant cousin's cousin.
Yeah, of course. Well,
everybody, because he's from Edmonton or St. Albert, that is something to be able to say that, though. That who is this year's Fernando Pisani?
Well, in this market, you know exactly what
that means.
Like, who's a third or fourth line player who scores like a first liner for 2 months?
Yeah.
Right.
Now, I think you and I both said Arvidsson, which doesn't make for great radio, but
no, but yeah, I guess the definition is who's a player who didn't score a ton in the regular season who could have around 15 goals in the playoffs.
Yeah.
Like, you can't say Hyman.
No, you can't.
You can't even say Nuge, really, I don't think.
Well, it's expected of them.
Right.
Right. Fernando Pisani was just supposed to be there.
Right.
And just, do as best you can. But for him to do what he did, I mean,
I would say Arvidsson, just because he played well. He played better the final quarter of the season. He was probably going to be on a line with Draisaitl. I mean, in 05-06, Pisani had 18 goals in 80 regular season games, had 14 in 24 playoff games.
Wow. And big goals.
On 4 occasions, he had double-digit goals in the regular season. He had 16, 18, 14, and 13. And then he had a playoff season with 14 and 24. And big goals, too. Right? I mean, of course, the shorthanded Game 5 winners, the famous, but didn't he get their only goal in Game 7? Like, it just was like, oh, Fernando has the puck, it's going to go in. It was kind of that sort of a vibe. I'll say Arvidsson. I totally get the Jeff Skinner argument. Podkolzin is kind of compelling as well, because I do think the style, Podkolzin's style of play is good for the playoffs.
Yes.
But again, can he finish? Does he have the hands to finish? Now, someone might say, well, Reid, if he's camped out in front of the net and he's only has to shoot from 5 feet away, with the goalie lying on the ground, then yeah, maybe he can bang in a few. I don't know if the Oilers go to the Cup final, though. If Podkolzin can get to double-digit goals, I could see Arvidsson doing it.
Isn't it interesting, though, if you look at what we've projected as the lineups to be, and obviously these can change, but on every line, there is one player at least that you could say could be this year's Fernando Pisani. I mean, on the top line, that would be Connor Brown.
Yeah, good. Yeah, that's a really good point.
Right? Then you've got Podkolzin or Arvidsson. Take your pick. Then you've got Jeff Skinner or Trent Frederick. I mean, Frederick, I don't think could fall in because the expectations aren't really there anyways.
Yeah.
Who is he? We don't, nobody knows.
We know what he should be.
Well, you know what you hope he should be.
Right.
He can play like. And then you've got Janmark. Would you put Corey Perry in there, or is he had too strong of a season?
I think he's too good historically offensively.
Yeah. And like we alluded to, he's played 215 of these games.
Right.
So Yeah, I mean, what if Janmark comes out and scores a goal tonight? His first let's say he actually beats a goalie.
Is that the thing? He didn't beat a goalie. He didn't shoot the puck past the goalie.
Right.
Empty netter and one off his leg or pant or whatever. It's fun to talk about right now. Hopefully someone steps up.
But do you think you need that? Do you think you need to have that in order
this
to win?
team will. Yeah, this team will. They'll need somebody else to produce. Yeah. 780-218-9999 is the River Cree Resort and Casino inbox. River Cree Resort and Casino, home of the kitchen restaurant. All-you-can-eat prime rib buffet for just $49.99 every Sunday from 4 to 10 p.m. That is where you submit your guesses for the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. Maximum 3 guesses per person. We do not have a winner yet, so we'll give out the 4th clue. The 4th clue is bird. Okay, so the clues to this point. Cup champ. Rangers. Kings. Bird. B-I-R-D. Common spelling of bird. I think someone will get it now. I actually hope someone gets it now. I don't want to have to go to the 5th clue, baby. Let's do it now.
You've spurred quite a debate about Guy Carbonneau.
Seriously?
Yeah, a lot of people agree with you. I mean, Greg in Vegas says Guy Carbonneau had 663 career points. I think I completely agree with Reid.
How many games did he play? Probably over 1,000, didn't he? Yeah, I mean, it's like, okay. It's like Kevin, even some Oilers fans didn't like that Kevin Lowe got into the Hall of Fame, but he was a very, very good player on a championship team and then won a 6th cup with the Rangers and was relied on in a lot of different situations and was still pretty good offensively.
So he played in 1,318 games. But 231 of those were Stanley Cup. Oh, no. And then he added on 231 playoff games.
Because he was on those Dallas teams that were good as well, right?
So maybe there's that. But 663 points in 1,300 games.
Very good player. I don't know if he'd be in my Hall of Fame, but I don't have one. Well, I do. It's all board games I like.
Wow.
All right. You can also email Reid at EdmontonSportsTalk.com, Jay at EdmontonSportsTalk.com. If you're taking us in on YouTube today, keep clicking that thumbs up button. Let's just see if we can get to 300.
Let's try.
Just because we've set a show record.
We've got an hour left.
We've set a show record. Yeah, we still have an hour left in the show. So no sense slowing down. Again, send other people in your life a link to the show. Say, check these guys out. The guy with the glasses is funny looking, but if you can tolerate him, you can get through it. And let's see how we can get. You guys have been awesome. Big day. Playoffs finally start tonight. We're going to have buying or selling for Damon Bunting. Here comes the Koob.
Game 1 between the Oilers and Kings shakes down. Stuart Skinner gets a start. Trent Frederick is a game-time decision. And 90 minutes before puck drop, Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas go live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show with Gazzola on location at Boston Pizza Westgate. Tune in only on EST at 6:30. And just about 5 minutes into the first period, the Caps and Habs are scoreless in Game 1 of their series before the Jets and Blues drop the puck in Game 2. Winnipeg up 1-0, while Dallas looks to rebound after dropping Game 1 against the Avs. In Seattle, Dan Bilesma has been relieved of his head coaching duties. Frank Cervalli from Daily Faceoff reporting that Jason Botterill will take over as the general manager, having current general manager Ron Francis to take a front office position. Basketball has 2 games. The Clippers and Nuggets tip off, Denver leading 1-0, while Detroit looks to tie their series in Game 2 against the Knicks. In baseball, Kevin Gausman takes the mound for the Jays in their opener against the Astros. 4 games are live, including the Marlins up 2-0 over the Reds in the 3rd inning. This sports update is brought to you by Advantage Sports Medicine and Physiotherapy. Get treated like a pro with their highly skilled crew. Whether you're recovering from an injury or looking to enhance your performance, get the same locker room approach that's trusted by the best in the game. Visit their website at AdvantageSportMed.ca. Buying or selling for Damon Bunting brings us back on the Reid Wilkins Show. I'm Zachary Kubusch. And you're in the loop.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric.
Darren Dreger from TSN. I think that it is capable to flip that switch. And I do think that Draisaitl and Connor are going to do that. Every coach says the same thing. It's not what the other team is going to do. It's how prepared you are from the start of the hockey game and how quickly you can get to your identity and how quickly you can execute your style of play.
The Nielsen Show with Lieutenant Eric, presented by South Fort Chevrolet. Weekday mornings 6 to 9, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Strike up some fun at the Banquet Bar. Bowling, drinks, and a great time with friends where the good times roll. Whether you're here to bowl or just hang out, the Banquet Bar is your go-to spot. Get real, play hard at the Banquet.
Hey Edmonton, ready to take advantage of lower rates and better pricing? South Fort Chevrolet in Fort Saskatchewan has you covered. From rugged trucks to sleek SUVs. And with over 40 years in business, you can trust that you're getting the best deal on your new ride. As the proud title sponsor of the Nielsen Show, EST listeners can drive a little to save a lot with South Fort Chevrolet's transparent pricing and down-to-earth sales team. Visit us today in Fort Saskatchewan or online at southfortchev.com.
The River Cree Resort and Casino presents Bump and Grind Rewind, May 16th, featuring Drew Hill. With Cisco and Genuine, plus DJ Hartman B. Bump and Grind Rewind. Friday, May 16th at the River Cree Resort and Casino. Get your tickets now at rivercreeresort.com.
And there they go to Sentinel Storage. The snowblower and winter gear goes in. They shoot, we store.
Need extra space? Store your winter gear with Sentinel Storage and win extra space at home. Try 4 weeks free at sentinelstorage.ca. Proud partner of the Edmonton Oilers.
All right, there's our Click Thumb Remax, produced by the remix, put together by the incredible Zachary Kubusch. You've been incredible giving us the thumbs up on YouTube today. We need 20 more to get to 300, which would be an absolute show record. So let's get there. We're still with you for another hour. Extended coverage to 6:30 today. And then Tom and Hernan take over with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. So both McDavid and Draisaitl are going to play. Haven't said that for the Oilers in a little over a month. Connor Brown, happy to have them both in action.
Yeah, I think that ups the sense of belief in our team. I mean, when you have those two guys, anything is possible. Two of the best players in the world, so dynamic together, especially on the power play. So it's nice to have them both back for sure.
All right, 8 o'clock game tonight. Oilers at Kings. We do have a winner in the Hudson's Canada's Pub Mystery Athlete of the Game. This person gets a $25 GC to Hudson's Canada's Pub. Who's the winner, Jay?
Dan.
And
there were a few, but Dan sent his in first.
So after we gave the fourth clue, it was
his second guess.
Okay, good. Who is it? Can we say who was his first guest?
Jonathan Quick.
A lot of people guessed Jonathan Quick. It wasn't Jonathan Quick would have fit the bill after 3 guesses. A lot of people would have, including Wayne Gretzky. But here's how we went with this. Cup champ was the first clue. It is indeed the Stanley Cup. Jay and I knew that people might start thinking, there are many other cups. Are Reid and Jay being cheeky here? No, it is the Stanley Cup. Second clue was Rangers. This person played junior hockey for the Kitchener Rangers. So that's important to remember there. Kings does indeed refer to the Los Angeles Kings. Okay? Though it's not the team this player is most associated with. I hope not. The fourth clue, Bird, refers to this gentleman's nickname, which was Big Bird. And then the fifth clue, if we would have needed it, was Canadians, as in Montreal Canadiens. It's Larry Robinson, one of the all-time greats in the National Hockey League. Teammate of Guy Carbonneau.
You know what's interesting, though, Reid? Because although he played for the Canadiens for a long time,
yes,
when you were talking to me about it, I kind of referred to Larry Robinson as an LA King because he coached there too. And when you ask Koob, what did Koob say about about Larry Robinson? Oh, he played for the Kings. But it's funny because it was only the last 3 years of his career, right?
Yes.
That he played for the Kings?
But he was Gretzky's teammate. So I guess you'd remember that a lot of people were watching the Kings there. Yeah, I forgot he coached the Kings for as long as he did. Also coached the New Jersey Devils, was an assistant coach on several teams. Wasn't he the assistant coach on the Blues when they won the Stanley Cup? I believe he was. Yes, that was his 10th Stanley Cup, playing and coaching combined. Somebody guessed Jay Wells. I like that. People were like thinking, okay, who played for the Kings and the Rangers and won a Stanley Cup? Did somebody say Gabrick? Did you say?
Yes, several.
Okay. So it's Larry Robinson, though, one of the all-time greats.
Okay, so the winner was Dan. So Koob will reach out to you in the River Cree inbox, Dan, and get you all the info for your $25 GC.
I got to put Larry Robinson on our spreadsheet of mystery athletes. Okay, good stuff. We'll do one. Well, we'll have at least 2 more Hudson's Canada's Pub mystery athletes of the game. At least 2 more.
Reid.
Hopefully many more. But Wednesday and Friday we'll have them for games 2 and 3 of this series. Let's hop into buying or selling, presented by Damon Bunting, a consistent top-producing realtor in the greater Edmonton area for over 17 years. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Community-driven, he understands what it takes to make a difference in our city. Check him out, DamonBunting.com, Instagram handle, Damon Bunting Real Estate. So it was, what would you call it? A halting? Would that be the right word? A halting finish to the regular season for the Edmonton Oilers? Slow and hesitant, especially through lack of confidence, faltering. Sort of. I mean, they obviously didn't have a full lineup a lot. They did have some nice wins, but they had some times where it's like, yeah, man, oh man, how is this team playing? So there's a lot of discussion, and it's been on other shows today, and I've been thinking about this. Well, the Oilers got to be careful here because they can't just flick a switch. You can't just go from regular season hockey or guys who have been even sitting out, maybe almost healthy enough to play, and just jump into playoff hockey and expect to do well. And so that's why I think some people are citing this as a series that the LA Kings will win. But Jay, don't we talk about this all the time? Like, isn't this the nature of being a pro athlete, or quite frankly, a human being? Like, don't all of us flick switches on a daily basis? Like, when you go home and your one of your daughters needs help with her homework or doing something with Coop the corgi, you don't say like, sorry, I'm a talk show host today. Like, you flick the switch to being a dad or a math helper or a horse wrangler. Like that's now I know real life and sports aren't everything we talk about is not entirely transferable. But I do think, at least to some extent, teams, and especially experienced teams and players, and the Oilers now have several of them on their roster, can flick the switch. I think you can say, okay, this is a playoff game. I mean, I don't think you can tell me that Anze Kopitar isn't going to flick a switch tonight. He understands. I think you can't tell me Drew Doughty isn't going to flick a switch tonight. Like, Drew Doughty came from being injured and hardly playing to playing in the Four Nations face-off, and he did fine. So I get it. Sometimes you look at a team's form going into the playoffs and you say, I don't like how they finished the season. They didn't look ready for the playoffs. But I also think you could find plenty of examples of teams that sort of sputtered into the playoffs or dropped the spot or two and still figured it out. Okay, and I said Montreal, Washington. Good for Montreal that they got in and they're quote-unquote hot going in. The counter argument to that is they're going to be exhausted. Like, winning the Stanley Cup is 2 months of an arduous journey. Montreal's been on that journey for almost 2 months. And the reason I sort of think Washington might be vulnerable isn't because of how they played down the stretch per se. It's because I think the Ovechkin thing might have become a distraction. It's not because they didn't win as often, on its own going to the playoffs. So, look, football, the teams flick the switch all the time. Like, look at the NFL. Like, how many star players didn't play the final week of the season? And then maybe, the first seeds had a bye. So I get it. Like, I understand why people might say it's hard to flick the switch, but my counter argument to that would be, actually, that's part of the job of being a pro athlete, is understanding what is required that night. So I don't know if it's like, okay, Adam Henrique wasn't trying as hard to get into shooting lanes. But he should have, but it's okay until March. And then in March, he needed to get in the shooting lane half the time. And then 3/4. And that's so he's ready to do it 100%. I think you can flick the switch and say, okay, requires a more thorough game tonight. I do think it's possible. I would buy that, yes, some teams, some players can flick the switch and just understand, okay, now it's different.
I think the key word you said throughout all that was experienced players. And I think having experience, specifically in hockey, in the Stanley Cup playoffs, gives you the ability, and it's not like you're saying, oh, I'm going to try harder. You're trying hard every night. It's the ability to flip on that next level, the next level of focus, of intensity, of knowing your role, doing your job. The stakes are higher. It's almost human nature. So I think that's, but here's the other thing too, Reid. Here's, but maybe it's not a counterpoint, but it's a question is, well, everybody across the ice is flipping a switch on too.
Oh, true. Yeah.
Right? So whose light shines brightest?
Right.
Whose flick of the switch is harshest? I don't know how to say it, but everybody is now playing at the next level. But you brought up Montreal. That's a team who clawed their way into the playoffs. And to be able to do that at its, it's not rocket science. Teams that have gone on a run in the playoffs have gone on and have eventually, a lot of them have eventually won the Stanley Cup. It's harnessing that. And I don't know if that team, given that they haven't been in the playoffs, they exhausted themselves getting into it, if they have that next level, right? Whereas the Oilers have been there. They've now done that. And although it was probably hard as a fan to watch that coming down the stretch with players in, players out, hopefully now is when you see the results. On the Hangout, they said that the LA Kings are playing to beat the Oilers right now. The Oilers are playing to win the Stanley Cup. Right? Could but that's a difference in your mental capacity to be able to say that. That we're not looking at, of course, we're looking at beating the Kings, but that's not the overall goal. Right. That's not our Stanley Cup. That is also a form of flipping the switch, in my opinion. Which I think now they have the experience to do that.
Well, and that's the thing. And that's why I think experienced people can do it. Experienced players can do it. You know what it takes. You know the situation. You know the grind, you know the routine, and again, you just understand now what playoff hockey is. I remember, and I think we're going to have Jody Shelley on the show later this week. Like he said, he remembers he told me the story. He remembers his first shift in the playoffs. Like he said, he got on the ice and his head was spinning. Like he couldn't fathom how much faster it was than the regular season, right? And then. Okay, so he experienced that, and then he was ready the next time. But the other 9 guys he was on the ice with, for and against that game, had already been there, and was like, okay, the tempo, we don't back off the tempo with this one. So, if the Oilers lose this series, I don't think it's because they were waiting to flick a switch and then couldn't. I think there will be other things that play into it, personally, and I also don't buy. Well, nothing can happen 4 times in a row. Yes, it can.
Absolutely.
Now, again, the Kings might win. I respect the Kings. Obviously, my Oilers in 4 pick. I'm having some fun with that as well. Hope people realize that, because I figured why not do it. I'm going to pick them to win. I might as well pick them at 4. But I think if the Kings win, it's not just, law of averages. And I do believe in the law of averages to an extent. But I mean, okay, I asked Buffalo Bills fans from the early 90s about the law of averages. They're still waiting for that average to, nobody loses 4. Well, it can happen, right? So I think that sometimes we look at things as reasons for why a series might go a certain way or went a certain way, but maybe they aren't actually the best reasons when you dive into it. So I don't know if the flick a switch argument is one that is against the Oilers. I think they can do it, but you're right. LA's doing the same thing. I mean, you think the LA has some players who've been there that are like, okay, it's go time now. There's no little shortcuts. There's no pulling up on a body check on the forecheck. Everything gets done to the fullest extent. Anyway, we'll start to find out tonight as the Oilers take on the Kings at 8 o'clock. We're with you until 6:30, so an extended edition of the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. And then Tom Gazzola, Hernan Salas take over at 6:30 with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. I wrote another. This is my weirdest one. I wrote 3 limericks today. This is my weirdest one. Okay?
Give her.
Part 4 of this first round election. Hope it's better than Alien Resurrection. Winona Ryder, I'd sit beside her. Will Skinner score on a deflection? You've seen Alien Resurrection, right? Nope. Part 4. Weakest of the quadrilogy. As it got called along the way. 780-218-9999 is how you can text us. The afternoon inbox presented by River Cree Resort and Casino featuring Italia Restaurant, home of the $6.99 brunch special from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. on Sundays. Here comes the Koob.
Game 1 between the Oilers and Kings is tonight. Either Josh Brown or Cam Dineen will play for the Oilers, with Stuart Skinner getting the call in between the pipes. You can join Tom Gazzola on location at Boston Pizza Westgate as him and Hernan Salas go live for the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show 90 minutes before puck drop at 6:30, only on EST. And right now, the Habs and Caps are tied at zeros with about 5 minutes left to play in the first period. After that, it's Game 2 between St. Louis and Winnipeg. The Blues will dress 11 forwards and 7 defensemen for that game. And the Jets took Game 1 before the Avs battle to find a 2-0 lead in their series over the Stars. Right now in the NBA, the Pistons and Knicks are just getting underway. Detroit trailing 1-0 entering Game 2 before the Clippers and Nuggets tip off. Denver taking Game 1. Baseball has 5 games live. The Guardians controlling the Yankees 5-zip in the bottom of the 5th inning, while the Tigers lead 4-2 in their game against the Padres. That one is midway through the 3rd inning. After that, the Jays and Astros duke it out to open their 3-game series. Kevin Gausman gets a start for Toronto. The Reid Wilkins Show returns once we get back from break. I'm Zachary Kubusch, keeping you up to date.
Get your fix every single game with the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas. Whether it's breaking down the starting lineup, predicting key matchups, or diving deep into the game's biggest moments, Tom and Hernan are here to give you the best insight and analysis in the city. After the final horn, get the breakdown of every key moment, performance, and player reactions. It's your one-stop shop for all things game day. Catch the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame and postgame shows with Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas, only on Edmonton Sports Talk, your clear choice for Edmonton sports.
Looking for a winning strategy for your retirement? Contact me, Joaquin Gage at K4 Financial, where expertise meets dedication. I will always look for a careful approach to your retirement, ensuring your financial future is secure. From tailored strategies to clear, actionable advice, I'm here to guide you every step of the way. Don't leave your future to chance. Get in touch with me, Joaquin Gage, today at k4financial.ca or email joaquin.gage@k4financial.ca to start planning for a brighter future and a more secure retirement.
Hi there. If you're like me, you like to picture yourself in luxury, even though there's absolutely no way you could afford it. And if you can, well, even better. Thankfully, I picture myself in something that is luxury, but still absolutely affordable, like the all-new Mazda CX-90 from Park Mazda. With the new luxury features like facial recognition settings and quilted detail Napa leather seating, I can pretend to be comfortable with all of my proper settings activated without even touching the button, thanks to Mitch Lewicki and the great staff at Park Mazda. I like to picture Mitch Lewicki as a ninja fighting off evil samurai.
Park Mazda, your dealer for life in Sherwood Park off Y Road, parkmazda.ca.
Your brand deserves more than just a whisper, it deserves a buzz. At the Hive Product Marketing, they specialize in promotional products that bring the buzz. From eye-catching giveaways to unforgettable keepsakes, they got the perfect products to make your brand stand out and get noticed. Visit the Hive Product Marketing and let them create the buzz your business deserves. The Hive Product Marketing, the official merch partner of Edmonton Sports Talk. Visit them online at thehiveproductmarketing.com.
So it's Nelly in Rogers Place tonight? That's why there's no watch party?
Yeah.
Is this Nelly? Is this Nelly Furtado or Nelly?
No, Nelly.
Nelly is just Nelly.
Like Band-Aid on face Nelly.
I do not know who that is.
You don't know who Nelly is?
What?
St. Louis rapper?
Is it a man?
It is.
What happened to his face that he needs a Band-Aid?
It was just for style, bro.
Ah, now I get it.
I'm pretty sure he's from...
No, it's all coming clear to me.
You would know Nelly's songs.
No, I wouldn't.
Yeah, you
would.
would.
Maybe. Well, I probably maybe if I heard them, yes.
You would.
Where would I have heard them, though?
In your younger years, probably.
In my younger years, like when I was 11?
Okay,
He's been around since the early 80s?
How old is Nelly? Nelly's 50.
Oh, I'm almost my age.
So you would have been coming up at the same time. You would have heard him probably just after university.
I wouldn't be seeking out that genre of music.
You didn't have
or
to.
Or genre, as we said back in Evansburg.
It was everywhere.
All right. Anyway, Nelly is at Rogers Place, so watch parties only outdoors. Or in the big tent, I guess. Jay and I are indoors at the Edmonton Sports Talk Global HQ. Oh, hot in here. I think I know that one. Mex just put that in the nasty chat.
Yeah, you would know.
We are in the Banquet studio, craving a late night snack. Check out the Banquet's new late night happy hour menu, Sunday to Thursday, 9 p.m. until close. Enjoy favorites like sweet and spicy lettuce wraps or the Banquet burger at happy hour prices. The Banquet, get real. Play hard. The Banquet studio for the Reid Wilkins Show with Jason Milne. Spency 5 cents, he says, Reid didn't watch much music in the early 2000s. I probably did. I probably was watching much more music at that time. Remember that?
No.
They launched much more music and it didn't have VJs. It just rolled songs. And then they just, I think, played pop-up video and rock and roll Jeopardy all the time. And then I think they just played The Simpsons.
I never watched any of that. I never had cable.
Was it banned in your household?
It was Access Network.
All access all the time.
What was Channel 9?
I don't know.
They had Street Sense. It was like the learning channel or something.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Was Jonathan Torrance on Street Sense?
Yeah.
I've interviewed him.
Yeah. Yeah, I never watched any of the much music.
Who was the guy with the blonde? Was it Steve Anthony? Erica M was a VJ. Who else did they have? You don't know any of this.
By the time I finally caught up with much music, was like Ed the Sock.
Oh, okay.
Was the guy. He was the big star. The Sock.
The Sock deserved his stardom. Oilers and Kings coming up at 8 o'clock. We expect, Tom Gazzola reporting it here, that Cam Dineen will come in on defense. Trent Frederick expected to play, so likely no Kapanen in net. The Kings pretty healthy. Tanner Jeannot not going to play. Undisclosed injury for him. Kemper versus Stuart Skinner is your goaltending matchup. The Kings outstanding at home all season long, but the Oilers won 6 out of the 8 road games they played in previous series. Oh, Rick the Temp, that was another guy on Much Music.
Wow.
Yeah. Rick the Temp, you remember him? No, you don't remember him. That's all right. Connor Brown, you know, looking back on last year, I mean, couldn't score, then as Jay brought up last week, remember, was healthy scratched the entire first round against the Kings and then only missed one playoff game the rest of the way. He's starting tonight on a line with McDavid and Hyman. He commented on his game this season.
Yeah, I feel good. I think actually coming into the playoffs last year, I felt pretty good. Obviously, had to fight and claw to get my way back in the lineup after a tough start to the regular season the following year, but the previous year rather. But this year, I thought a fairly strong season. Especially with the kind of roles I was asked to play, and I'm just excited. I feel good. My game feels good. I feel confident, so ready to go.
All right, Washington Capitals on a power play late in the first period, but still no score between the Canadiens and the Caps. Minute 57 left in the first. I was thinking, Jay, what do a lot of hockey people say? The Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win. Now, there's obviously going to be some bias towards your sport or the league you work in or whatever. But I was like it, but just watching those first games on the weekend and how physical they are. And I talked about that St. Louis Winnipeg series. I said, that's the caliber of a Western Conference final matchup,
Sure.
and one team's going to be out in the first round. You look at all these teams, over 100 points, just barely 100 points, and half of them are going to be out in the first round and not even have a chance. And look, you and I love football. We love the CFL. We love the NFL. But I was thinking of, all right, so NFL versus NHL. Hey, NHL team, you finished first in your conference. Oh, wow, that's really going to help us out in the playoffs. Like, what do we get as a bonus? Well, you'll get an extra home game in your series if needed. Like, if needed, you get it right at the end. Oh, like anything else? Well, you play a team that's lower down in the standings. Oh, but like we played that team in the regular season. Like, they actually beat us 2 to 3 times. Like, can we play some? No, you got to play that team. But you start at home. And again, if you need a decisive game at the end of the series, you get it at home. Okay, but like, how many rounds do we have to play? Well, 4 rounds, 4 best of 7s. Well, that's the same as everybody else. Like, we were first in our conference. What about the 7th place team? No, they're going to win the same amount. It's all the same. Capitals just scored. Ovechkin, he's good. When you look at the NFL, and I'm not saying it's not hard to win the Super Bowl, because it is, but it's like, okay, hey, you finished first in your conference. You know what? Take the first week of the playoffs off. We'll make everybody else play. You can't be eliminated in the first round. Impossible. You get it off. You know what else? You get all your games at home. Every single one until the Super Bowl. You get the 2 to get to the Super Bowl. You just get them at home. No questions asked. You just get them at home. It is a bit of a contrast when you think of it that way.
You've got a point. And I mean, just the length of the series alone. It's just, I 100% agree. I don't even think, if you were talking in a group of, sports-minded people, that they would have a hard time disputing that the Stanley Cup is the hardest trophy to win. I mean, I guess it would be interesting to take this discussion and put it at a little podunk bar in the middle of Texas and see what they say, if they even know what the NHL is.
Well, oh, jeez.
But I mean that. I mean, it's a huge state. But if you look at the series and what they have to endure to hoist that, it's not even close, in my opinion. But what's that worth?
Well, this is the thing that makes. I mean, the NBA has 4 best of 7 series. Baseball's extended their playoffs. So I'm not saying it's not a grind in these other sports, but if you look at what. I mean, look at last season, that second round series between the Canucks and Oilers was like epic.
Yeah.
Goes to back and forth, goes to Game 7, all the storylines, all the hatred between the fan bases, all the hard hits and key goals and momentum swings. So the Oilers won that series. Okay, you're half done. Another month ahead. And people have said this to me. It's not always the best team that wins. Sometimes it's just the healthiest team. Yes, they're pro athletes. Yes, they're in incredible shape. Sometimes teams just run out of gas, where the wrong player gets injured at the wrong time. I mean, Draisaitl didn't score in the Stanley Cup final. Well, he was hurt. So it's it's an endurance contest and almost a test of your mettle and your pain threshold and your exhaustion threshold as much it is as a test of your hockey skill or your teamwork. It's like, who can actually endure this? After 82 games, you got to do this for another 2 months. And in the Oilers' case, though they didn't win, I mean, they went as far as they could last year, and then start over in 3 months, you know? And I do think there's something to this that makes it hard to win. And I know Tampa Bay went back to back. I mean, their seasons were kind of abbreviated because of the COVID stuff. But that is something working against teams to win several years in a row, because the off seasons are so like these does eventually something that happened the previous May catch up to you the next May? You know, just the exhaustion of doing it over and over again.
Do you think there's luck involved with winning the Stanley Cup? I mean, because what you just said, with what you're enduring, and you have to outlast. You can outsmart them all you want and outplay them, but at the end of the day, you need to outlast.
I think that I don't want to use luck in the same term, in the same way I would use like the luck of winning a lottery.
No, but I mean, it helps.
But there certainly is good for, I mean, within an individual game, of course, there are bounces, but bigger picture, like injuries. I mean, nobody tries to get injured.
No.
Sometimes really durable players like Draisaitl got to play banged up in the playoffs or whatever. And I also think, and this is what I've talked about with Big St. Louis, sometimes it's just a matchup. You know, you get a favorable matchup or you get the wrong team at the wrong time, or that one team that has your number, you know, that just seems to be able to beat you. Yeah, absolutely. All that comes into play. So that's how I look at, you know, at even travel, you know, like, okay, LA Edmonton that's more travel than if LA would have drawn Anaheim in but whatever, you know, another California team, even things like that, you know, okay, yeah, you're within the conference, but there might be more travel for some teams than for others. I think all those types of things go into it too. Like you need so many things to go your way to win the Stanley Cup. And yes, I think the luck in terms of injuries, travel, your matchup, all that kind of thing. And then that's why you talk about having a killer instinct. If you can finish off a series earlier, you got to finish it off.
Sure.
And that's what I was talking about with the Oilers with game ones. Like, it'd be nice to get the jump on a team.
Yeah.
It'd be nice to go in there and take the first game. And it's like, well, there's probably not going to be a sweep, but if there is, it's going to be us. We're going to be the team getting the extra rest. That's a really good question. Keep giving us the thumbs up if you're, oh my goodness, we need 6 more.
Wow.
6 more.
Isn't it time for you and I to go home?
No, we're staying around till 6:30, my young friend.
What?
Well, 6:25. 6:25.
Extended Reid Wilkins show coverage?
Well, this is great. This is why we're here. This is fun
this
stuff.
This is what you live for.
Yeah, I mean, last year, covering that playoff run was a highlight of my career. And I've said this to you. I've probably said it on air. But people would ask me, what would you like to do in your career? And there's certain things it's like, well, I hope to do this. And now, speaking of things you don't have control over, I'd like to cover a Stanley Cup final. I had no control over that. No control over that at all. But it was pretty cool to do it.
Yeah, I'll say.
It was pretty cool to do it. It'd be awesome if the Oilers got, and we had Stu MacDonald on the show in the last hour talking about the watch parties, talking about fans buying merch. Like the passion in oil country is enormous. And as I've said, like this is an elite fan base. Whether you're here in Edmonton and go to the games or can gather, or whether you're the people we get checking in from Illinois or Australia or New Zealand or Singapore or wherever, like it's an elite, passionate fan base, right? And was it on air? We were talking about this probably about a month ago, where I hate people cheer for the Oilers because there's nothing to do in Edmonton. No, that's not true. People cheer for the Oilers because they are passionate, and it's next level passion. You know, the Yankees aren't popular because there's nothing to do in New York. They're passionate because they're a legacy team with a great history, and people care and are on board and have a sense of community. And to some extent, and maybe this isn't always healthy, but to some extent, tie their own emotional state into how the team is doing.
Well, sure.
You know?
Loyalty.
Like people were giddy for most of the playoffs last year.
Yes.
Well, not always. There were some tough moments, but
Gager hopped back into the office. He'd forgot a charger, and he said, "There's a feeling out there in the streets. There's a buzz. You know, that's cool. That is just neat. Well, that is neat to see a team or a city rally around something like this.
Well, and it's sort of what everybody's been waiting for. I mean, as much as they started the regular season poorly and were 500 or just barely above 20 games in and had that 5-game losing streak around the Four Nations face-off, there was still that sense of, okay, they're probably going to make the playoffs. And then it's for real. And we gave a lot of the stats between the Kings and the Oilers. Could be out the window.
Probably will be,
actually. As you said, if the Oilers' power play is 40% in this series, it's lights out Los Angeles.
Yes.
Very likely.
Very.
If the Kings are as good 5-on-5 as they were in the regular season, it's lights out Oilers. But you don't know what's going to continue. But that it is. There's all these trends and all these things between how the teams did in the regular season. But can they continue in the playoffs when it's the same team every second day for 2 weeks? Are all those numbers still going to be in your favor when you're playing the same team again and again? And again, the reason I think the Oilers can win is because they have Leon and Connor. I think that's going to be the edge. It's their job. It's their job to figure out how LA defends and their goaltender. And usually the high-end offensive players do it. Usually.
Hey, was there any... Or do you know when exact puck drop is or approximate? Because remember last year, it was like, the game starts at 8:30, but it wouldn't.
Let me double check.
Drop till 8:48.
But it wouldn't be that late. It might be quarter after. I'm not sure. Let me just check.
So it's an 8 p.m. start.
But I don't know if that's 8:10 or 8:12.
Right. Sometimes they can be 8:08. Sometimes they can be closer to half past the hour.
I didn't double check. Did Jack tweet it out? Sometimes Jack's on the TV feed, by the way, which I think a lot of people were excited about. Which I'm also I'm happy for Mooner because I don't think he's ever got to call a playoff game on Chet.
Nice,
right? Because he usually gets bumped aside. Wow. 8:20.
There you go.
8:20 according to Jack Michaels. Today's April 20th, right? 8:20. Okay, I just got from Oilers PR. 8:22 Mountain.
It happens again.
Because the Jets game is starting at 5:30, right? Or the Jets game has started. Koob, do we have a score yet? I know you're doing an update right away.
We do have a score. It's 0-0.
Get right. Okay.
There you go.
Never say it's scoreless. The score is 0-0. It's goalless. All right. Let's do our 6 o'clock break. We're with you until 6:25. Koob's going to do another sports update as well. Extended Reid Wilkins show with Jason Milne as the playoffs get underway.
It's Oilers Kings Game 1 down in LA. Stuart Skinner starts for Edmonton. Head coach Chris Knobloch saying that Trent Frederick is a game time decision. Tom Gazzola and Hernan Salas bring you the GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show, teeing up the action live on location at Boston Pizza Westgate 90 minutes before action. Tune in at 6:30 only on EST. And there's 3 other playoff games on tap, 2 games live. Alex Ovechkin connects with Tom Wilson and Dylan Strome to take a 1-0 lead for the Caps over the Habs at the end of 20 minutes in Game 1. Elsewhere, the Blues are running 11 forwards and 7 defensemen as they find themselves midway through the first period in Game 2 against the Jets. Just about 7 minutes to go in the first. Winnipeg is up 1-0 in the series entering the game. After that, Dallas and Colorado go head-to-head in Game 2. The Avs won the opening match, and on the court, the Knicks trail 23-18 to the Pistons nearing the end of the first quarter. The Knicks have a 1-0 series lead. And from Houston, the Jays are warming up to challenge the Astros. Kevin Gausman starts on the mound for Toronto, seeing 8 games around the MLB, 5 games live right now. The Mets control the Phillies 2-0 midway through the 3rd inning, while the Padres are down 4 runs against the Tigers in the 4th inning. I'm Zachary Kubusch for your sports update. We'll be back with the Reid Wilkins Show very shortly.
Must you click? Click.
Nice kick, Nick. Come. Kick. Come. Kick. Come. Nice kick, Nick. Come. Please, Nick. Come.
You know what, Reid? Ross just gave us his first thumbs up ever.
Oh, wow.
Isn't that fantastic? What are we at now?
We are over 300. Thank you very much.
309.
That's amazing. New show record, obviously. Tom Gazzola even in the nasty chat. Posting 300 likes. Tom is at BP Westgate. He'll do the Oil Stream GCL Diesel pregame show from there. Hernan, are you going to drop by? Hernan will be dropping by there. He's got to work here and then head over there and then come back here. Hernan's back from vacation. Yeah.
Should we get into a word of the day?
Oh, we didn't even do our word of the day.
I know.
We forgot our word.
So that we can then set up the game properly.
Let me do a quick set of the lineup here.
Okay, let's do it.
Then I want to get to a clip as well. So Tom Gazzola reporting that, and we expected Trent Frederick should play at forward. So first playoff game as an Oiler, just his second game as an Oiler since being acquired. With Stetcher out and Ekholm out, obviously, it looks like Cam Dineen's going to be in. So Kulak, Wallman, Bouchard, Nurse, Emberson, Dineen will be the defensemen. The top four guys probably going to play a lot. Knobloch on the top four without Ekholm.
I think everyone can handle more minutes and play. Certainly you saw during the last couple of weeks where we were down 5 defensemen and we had Bouchard and Kulak and Nurse regular play 30 minutes. Wallman can play high minutes also, but it'll be very similar to this in this series. That we're going to rely on those guys to play a lot of big minutes, but we'll need contributions from all 6 of our guys, but we're comfortable with having those guys step up and play a significant role.
Would not surprise me if at least one Oilers defenseman got up around 27 or 28 minutes in 60 minutes of regulation time. Obviously, if it goes to overtime, I would expect, barring overtime, Dineen and Emberson maybe are both under 14 even.
Yeah.
Depending on how the game goes. I mean, if it's a close game. Gazzola also posting in the nasty chat, all set up at BP Westgate. Tons of Oilers prizes up for grabs tonight. Rob from the Grove, officially the first nasty here. Good stuff. And we're at 315 thumbs up. If you haven't done it, keep clicking away. This is a new show record. Well, I think if we get to 325-ish, we'd set a new show record by over 100 thumbs. Now, it would be in the extended part of the show, but even so in the first 3 hours, it was incredible. Thanks to everybody for showing that you flicked the switch for the playoffs by flicking the thumbs up.
Hey? Well, hey, when the Oilers are getting her going, that this is a place to go. Edmonton Sports Talk. Your clear choice for Edmonton Sports.
100%. Okay, so we got to do a double. Do we even have to do a triple word of the day?
I don't think we can. I just don't
have that many. There aren't that many words in the English language.
Here we go.
The word of the day with Reid and Jay.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I break your concentration?
What do they got to say?
Say what again? Say what again? I dare you.
Let's find out.
English, do you speak it? Then you know what I'm saying.
Okay, so we're going to do 2 words of the day. Both I think you're going to spell. So I think you're going to get 2 out of 4 points. I think you're going to get 1 definition.
Okay.
The first word of the day, Warren.
Warren?
Warren.
Warren.
Warren. Do not overthink it.
Warren. And this is, I believe this is some sort of,
this is a noun.
Enclosure in the wild, like a small burrow or something for rabbits.
What? I got it. How did you know that?
I don't know. I just knew it.
How would you know that a warren is a place where rabbits live?
I don't know. It just came to me that's what I thought it was. I did not see it. I did not look
I'm
anything
not
up.
accusing you.
I would
just
tell if I would look something up.
I think it just came from some novel you've read or some
Probably.
series you read. What was the bunny series?
Watership Down, which I never read. Watership Down is the bunny book, right? Is
I
that
bet
not
you
water?
if-
Is it not Watership Down? But I don't know. So it just occurred to me that was in my brain.
Well,
somewhere.
okay, you could on such a tremendous day bat 1,000 here. I'm just saying it.
I'm sorry I knew what it was.
Why are you sorry?
Well,
I'm proud of you.
I shocked you.
I'm proud of you. I like when my friends succeed.
Yeah, that's true.
The second word of the day, fastidious. Fastidious.
Oh, crap. I know this.
Fastidious.
Fastidious. Yeah.
Correct on the spelling.
Fastidious means very detailed and particular.
Wow. Leave it to Reid to go 4 for 4.
I'm playoff ready. I have flicked
You
the
are
switch.
playoff ready, yes.
I have flicked the switch for the playoffs. Boop.
Wow. Reid is dialed
That's
in.
me flicking the switch.
An anaconda taking down a pig.
Boop.
Reid is locked in, folks.
Let's go, girls.
Play them all, baby. Around the horn.
Fantastic.
Oh, isn't it nice to be suddenly so highly regarded?
Make it so, number one.
All right, that's most of them.
Wow. I guess that's what we got to do now. Yeah. If you get 4 for 4 on double word of the day bonus words, we have to go through your whole around the horn on all your sound
Yeah, I
effects.
played as many as I.
I didn't hear.
David Lee Roth.
Whoa! Whoa!
Can't take it anymore.
So I knew Warren was what? Okay, so fastidious, I said, what did I say? Detailed and particular.
Yeah. So
what's the exact perfect definition?
Someone described as fastidious is extremely or overly careful about how they do something. Fastidious may also describe someone who is difficult to please or someone who always wants to be clean, neat, etc.
Yeah, you could, if you were being very
Reid, it's your
particular
day.
yourself,
It was your
you could have knocked me down a quarter point maybe, but
I don't know.
I think I got the spirit of the definition.
And we're in the spirit of game 1. So there you go. You could do no wrong in my eyes, Riedrich.
I appreciate that. Well, that was good. I can't remember the last time I went 4 for 4 in word of the day.
I don't think you have. That's how awesome
You don't
this
think
is.
I ever have?
I don't think so. Marco says Reid swept the word of the day, so the Oilers will sweep the Kings now.
Could be.
Oh my gosh.
Who else picking this series picked an Oilers sweep?
Like seriously?
Anybody else in the media? I doubt it.
I don't know.
Did you see Charles Barkley's bracket?
I did.
Charles Barkley picked the Oilers over the Leafs in the Stanley Cup final.
God bless Charles Barkley. That would be amazing.
And he knows players in the league because he was like my boy Draisaitl, right?
Well, he's a big Edmonton Oilers fan.
Well, Shaq.
Yes.
That was Shaq that did, but with Barkley when they did the Shaq Hyman stuff, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, TNT has the game, so they know.
Well,
they kind of got to know enough about what's going on.
He'll hop on the TNT broadcasts in the U.S. from time to time.
Yeah. Well, wasn't there one where he was trying to play goal and didn't know how to hold the stick or something like that? But
I think he was in Edmonton, wasn't he, for a game or something last year?
Oh, he might have. Yeah, because doesn't Kyle Bukowskis interview him usually?
Yes.
He goes to a Cup final game,
or maybe it wasn't here. Maybe, but
it might have been somewhere
but Bukowskis
else. Yeah.
interviewed him. Yeah.
Yes,
and he was feeling good.
Got a limerick here from the Big Uke. Oil versus Kings is here again, part 4. Pretty simple plan. Score, score, score. McDry's time to shine. Their skill, fine wine. Would Jay be fined if he broke the escape room door? Very good. He always ties in something from today's show. Really good limericks today. Really
I got
good.
one. Yeah, go ahead, Reid.
Well, I was just saying, even the gentleman who had his first attempt, was very strong. Just need
Absolutely.
just a little bit of tweaking. Very good.
This one comes in from Corey B. Edmonton Oilers playoffs today. Extra half hour of Reid and Jay. Then we get Hernan and Tommy's the man leading us into the game. Hey, hey! Well done.
That's pretty good.
Well done.
That's pretty good. We need 5 thumbs to get to 325. Shattering our old record. What did we think it was? 222, 227?
Something. My mom's on the road today. Otherwise, she would have been
keep
checking
track
in.
of all the
she
thumbs?
knows all.
Wow, that is amazing.
They're traveling today. They're going to visit my brother down in BC.
Travel day. No media,
Travel day.
no media availability.
She'll rewatch this later and be terrified that I mentioned her. And no, I could have given you the information. It's okay, Mom.
I wonder if, do you think Draisaitl and McDavid are ever on the same line in the series for
I was going to ask Tom when he was sitting here.
2/3 of a game?
Is it now? Okay, because that was a point of conversation during the regular season. Why are they going nuclear? Why are they going to do that? Well, what if they go nuclear tonight? And by that, I mean Draisaitl and McDavid playing together.
Right.
Is that now, why do they got to do it? Or, okay, let's do it.
Well, so say you're down 3-0.
Okay.
Do you go nuclear?
Say you're down.
Or do you say, all right, guys, you got to work it out with these lines. We have to have a 4-line push. We can't have one line dominate zone time and the other 3 do nothing.
Is it one of those things that you do not want to see as an Oilers fan?
Do the Oilers have to be behind for him? Like, what if Knobloch just senses, you know what, they can't, the Kings can't check tonight.
Yeah,
I'm going to load these guys up.
Yes.
And we're going to score 3 goals in the next 7 minutes. And
That's
win the game.
more what I was
I don't know.
Stating was, let's put the foot down here.
Right.
They can't hang with us. Let's go. Let's go, girls.
Sorry, I don't have the clip ready. Canadians trailing the Capitals 1-0. The second period is just underway, about 15 seconds in. What do we have, Jets, Koob? Do we have anything yet? I'm trying to check online here.
1-0.
1-0. Oh, Mark Scheifele, second of the series. That is late in the first period. Avalanche and Stars at 7:30. And the Oilers and Kings, as I was telling you, it's actually an 8:22 Mountain Time face-off. So I guess they are trying to stagger that so the Jets game is over by the time they drop the puck on that one. I know the late start times are well, Sunday's a 7:30 game. Maybe that'll turn out to be 7:52 though.
Probably.
It's great. All right. Oilers.
Oh, Winnipeg St. Louis just scored on the power play.
Who?
1-1.
Do we know yet?
Yeah. Jimmy Snuggerud.
I think he was he not a late season college signing? I think he was.
He was.
Yeah. He didn't play very regular season games. So the first unit power play is going to all be together. You know, McDavid, Draisaitl, Nugent Hopkins, Hyman have all missed time. They're going to be back together for the first time in a little over a month. Here's Chris Knobloch.
Guys, we definitely give them the keys and let them go. They might not have been together on the ice, but they worked together in the dressing room the last couple of weeks, off the ice, watching games. There's been a lot of talk, a lot of conversations about what they need to do. But yeah, that's a lot of, we can give them the preparation. We can give them some keys of what LA's doing, but it comes down to the execution. And, for a 5-man unit, we have a lot of confidence in those guys.
I think the power play, well, here's the thing. How many power play opportunities are they going to get? How's it going to be refereed? And here's the thing. Like, if you look at the stats, there are actually, in some years, there have been more power plays per game in the regular season. I think why a lot of people watch the playoffs and think there are fewer power plays is because there's more that could be called because it's so intense and so many more hits being finished. I thought last night, you know where I'm going with this, the Leafs and the Senators. The checks from behind that the Ottawa got called, the cross checks, in my book are penalties. The problem is more vicious infractions weren't called in the regular season, right? There was the one in the corner. If you're watching on TV, would have been in the near left corner. I can't remember who did it. And then even the Matthews one, that's a cross check. But there's a lot of those little pushes to the back or firm pushes to the back where the guy doesn't go down. It's near the board. Like, I'm not saying Matthews took a dive, but a lot of times a guy doesn't go down when he's shoved like that, So we'll see how it's officiated. I think the Oilers will generate chances. How many chances do they get, and do they have the finish? I don't really doubt the power play generating opportunities.
I mean, I would say that it's going to have to take something rather blatant or quite clear to be called. I think they're going to let them be physical, though. Would you not say?
I hope so.
Right?
Yeah. I just want to ask you a question about the Kings. We're 329 thumbs, by the way. Amazing, Nasties. Thank you so much. The Snuggerud goal. Now, we have the Canadians game on, so we haven't seen it yet. Maybe someone can help us out if they're watching. The Snuggerud goal is listed at 19:59 of the first period, which means it could have gone in with a tenth of the second left. So
I've got it at 19:58 here.
Oh, does it say 19:58 now?
Yeah.
Okay, sorry. How much time was left? Like in the final? Okay.
Wow.
It wasn't under a second? Okay. So it says 19:58 now?
1958.
Oh, yeah, it's changed now. Okay, so it could have been 1 point something.
Wow.
All right, let's ask you about this. Which LA King could be their Pisani-esque type player?
Oh, gosh.
Okay, I'll tell you where I'm going with this. This, I guess it's not a direct comparison, but here's a guy that worries me. And obviously there are several good players. Kuzmenko, to me, could be a wild card for them. Came over in a trade. Good player. Is this where he's found his home? He's on their first line with Kopitar and Kempe. It's just another weapon for them up front. They have a pretty good top nine, and he's been a good addition. Can shoot the puck. Clearly they have a lot of good players, but that to me, that's just an extra potential headache for the Oilers in their front line.
Well, Quentin Byfield has had at least 1 point in 7 of his past 11 playoff games. All of those playoff games have come against the Oilers.
Obviously, right?
So he's somebody to watch, and he seems to play well against the Oilers. He's always noticeable for them since they switched him to center. And Reid, I didn't know you were going to bring this up, but I have to say it now. I have to. Adrian Kempe,
your guy,
is the bane of Oilers fans' existence. He has, in 18 playoff games, also versus the Oilers, 19 points. He's over a point per game in playoff games against the Oilers. If you can somehow keep Adrian Kempe at bay, that is a very, very good thing for this team. He's just one of those guys, right?
It's interesting with Danault. He's a great all-around, and he's the one guy who could have all of a sudden a huge series. He only had 8 goals and 43 points in 80 games in the regular season. Now, he's very good all-around, right? Like, he's an impact player, but he didn't have a huge offensive season, perhaps by what you would expect. We can finally stop speculating about it, and we'll have an actual playoff game to talk about tonight.
Absolutely.
All right. We're going to close the show here with the playoff song. Let's go win the Stanley to the tune of Pour Some Sugar on Me. At 6:30, Tom Gazzola from BP Westgate. Hernan Salas is going to be here at EST Global HQ. The GCL Diesel Oil Stream pregame show. It's extended by half an hour, doing 90 minutes, extend to 60, taking you into the game. At the moment, we are at 333 thumbs up on YouTube. Absolutely incredible total. We thank you for that. New show record. Really appreciate it. Well, let's hope there are many more playoff game days to see what we can do with the thumbs. On behalf of Zach Kubusch and the glue guy, Jason Milne, I'm Reid. Here's the tune, and then Tom.
Step inside Rogers Place. Play La Bamba. Baby! Play La Bamba, baby!
We're a dangerous team when we're rolling, and we're healthy, and we are healthy.
Cup is on the line, baby, come and get it done. 16 wins, yeah, they're going on a run. Looking to advance, going deep in the dance. Hop on the bandwagon, let's hear the fans. The fans.
Special place to play, honestly. So much history, these fans. It's great to hear their sport.
Razzling and dazzling every single night. Clubs coming up, baby, gonna be a fight. 6 games, 5 games, how about a sweep? Ticket prices, yeah, they're gonna be steep, yeah! Yeah! Come on! It's the playoffs! Crank it up! It's the playoffs! Take the cup! Let's go win the Stanley! Ooh, gotta get the cup! Let's go win the Stanley! Come on, lift it up! Let's go win the Stanley! Waited long enough. It's time time. No more wait for the oil. It's the fate, yeah. Listen, first gear, second gear, third gear, go. McDavid 97, he's a one-man show. Dry saddle, Iverson, gotta love the nude. Bush, Skinner, and Picks need to be huge. Be huge. They gotta squeeze a little, squeeze a little, squeeze a little more. Get the bottom six to find a way to score. One time, overtime, gotta find a way.